There is a sentence so mighty, so charged with divine power, that when spoken with faith, it opens the floodgates of abundance and causes the riches of heaven to rain down upon you. This is not superstition. This is not fantasy. This is the law of mind, the law of spoken word, the law of prosperity. I have seen it work. I have watched men and women in despair, with pockets empty and hearts heavy. Speak this one sentence, and within hours the tide turned. The money came. The debt was paid. The miracle arrived, not because the sentence was magic, but because the word carries the vibration of faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for. You do not need to strive. You do not need to plead. You do not even need to know the how. All you need to do is speak from the authority of your spirit, knowing that the supply is already yours, and that the infinite substance of the universe rushes to fulfill the word you boldly declare. As it is written, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." Speak, and the word becomes flesh. Speak, and money moves. Speak, and the entire current of your life changes direction. So today we begin with a sentence. One sentence that will awaken divine circulation in your finances. One sentence that activates the law of increase. One sentence that, when believed, will usher in large sums of money in ways so swift and surprising, you will know it could only be by the hand of God. Repeat after me. Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and under grace in perfect ways. Let the words sink deep. Let the truth settle into your subconscious mind. Let your soul align with abundance. And as we begin this journey, keep this sentence close to your heart, for it is the key that opens the treasure chest of heaven. And now we walk forward expecting, receiving, rejoicing. The moment you speak, you create. Every word you utter is a vibration sent forth into the ethers, charged with your belief, your expectation, and your spiritual energy. The universe does not respond to begging, it responds to bold declarations rooted in divine law. The spoken word is not mere sound. It is the channel through which unseen realities become seen. It is the tool given to you by the Creator to shape your experiences, shift your circumstances, and call forth your desires from the invisible realm into the visible world. When you speak, especially with the authority of faith, your words move energy, open paths, and stir the divine forces already working on your behalf. There is no need to struggle, push, or force when you understand the power of your spoken word. You are not trying to convince the universe to give you something, it is already yours. You are aligning your vibration with the truth that it is already done. Words, when aligned with belief, become spiritual commands. And the universe, being obedient to law, responds to that command with exactness. Just as God spoke, "Let there be light," and light appeared, you too have been given the power to declare, to decree, and to expect a perfect demonstration. The sentence, when spoken with pure faith, becomes a spiritual decree. It is no longer just a string of words, it is a force, a vibration, a spiritual instrument tuning your life to wealth and abundance. You are not hoping money will come. You are not wondering how. You are not questioning if you deserve it. You are declaring, and that declaration, infused with certainty, draws all resources into motion. It tells the angels, the energies, the divine substance, that now is the time, now is the hour, now is the manifestation. This is why the one sentence must be said not just with lips, but with soul. When you say it, you must feel it deep in your being as already done. Speak it not from lack, but from divine authority. For in that moment, you are no longer waiting for abundance, you are speaking from it. You are no longer wishing for prosperity, you are channeling it through your very breath. As you speak from divine authority, you must also understand what you are truly commanding money is not just paper or numbers on a screen. It is divine substance taking the form you need in the physical realm. It is the expression of energy, intelligence, and abundance made visible. When you say the words, "Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and under grace in perfect ways," you are not calling something foreign or unnatural to you. You are summoning what is already part of your divine inheritance. You are activating what has always been yours by spiritual right. Money responds not to effort but to energy, not to fear but to faith. And the energy of your words spoken with clarity, intention, and belief becomes a magnet for the substance of wealth. Words are more than vibrations, they are spiritual codes. When you declare with conviction that large sums of money flow to you, you are speaking the language of divine circulation. You are allowing what was once blocked or delayed to now move freely, easily, and joyfully into your life. The moment you speak from truth, the divine substance begins to gather in the direction of your need and your vision. There is no limit to how money may arrive. There is no restriction on who or what the channel might be. The universe has countless paths to deliver what you have called forth, and none of it depends on your logic or control. Your part is to speak, believe, and receive. The divine part is to orchestrate the unfolding, and the more you speak from abundance rather than lack, from faith rather than fear, the faster the manifestation comes. Your one sentence becomes a spiritual engine. Every time you repeat it, you are reinforcing the flow of divine substance. You are telling the unseen world that you are ready, that you are available, that you are open. And when you are open, money comes not as a struggle, not as a reward, but as a natural expression of divine law responding to divine speech. As divine substance begins to flow toward you, it is your inner world that becomes the receiving vessel. The subconscious mind is the soil in which the seed of your spoken word takes root. Whatever is planted there, whether fear or faith, scarcity or sufficiency, will grow and become your outward experience. That is why repetition is not just a habit, it is a holy act. Each time you speak the sentence, you are impressing the truth of abundance deeper into the subconscious. You are rewriting the old programs of lack and limitation with a new vibration of prosperity and ease. The subconscious does not argue. It does not reason. It simply accepts what is fed to it repeatedly with emotion. If, for years, you have spoken of not having enough, of struggling to make ends meet, then your inner world has accepted that as law. But now, with this one sentence, you begin a reversal. You are unlearning poverty and relearning abundance. You are dissolving the belief in limitation and replacing it with the law of increase. With every repetition you are saying, "This is my new truth." And truth, when spoken with faith, becomes experience. You are not repeating empty words. You are tuning yourself to a new frequency. Just as a radio must be set to the correct station to receive the broadcast, your subconscious must be tuned to wealth to receive the flow of money. The more you affirm, the more you shift. The more you shift, the more aligned you become. And alignment is what allows manifestation to take form swiftly and naturally. You are no longer chasing money, you are becoming a magnet to it. You are no longer seeking from outside yourself, you are awakening the divine truth already within you. With each repetition of the sentence, you are creating new spiritual grooves. You are smoothing out the rough places in consciousness. You are anchoring the belief that large sums of money are not a fantasy, but a divine promise. They come to you not by force, but by frequency. and your frequency is tuned word by word into the rhythm of grace, ease, and unstoppable abundance. As you continue to align your subconscious with the vibration of abundance, there is a higher force that carries your words beyond effort. This force is grace. Grace is the divine oil that makes manifestation smooth, effortless, and filled with favor. When you speak your affirmation under grace, you release the need to struggle. You no longer attempt to push or manipulate the outcome. Instead, you surrender to a higher order, trusting that the universe knows how to deliver your supply in the most perfect and harmonious way. Grace does not delay. Grace accelerates. Grace bypasses human reasoning and creates divine shortcuts where none existed before. To speak your one sentence under grace is to release all fear of how, when, or through whom the money will come. It is to step out of control and step into trust. Grace is the sacred current that carries your declaration directly into form without resistance. It clears away unseen blocks, opens hidden channels, and moves in mysterious ways to bring your word into demonstration. You are not limited to logic or human effort. You are now operating under divine timing, divine intelligence, and divine supply. The repetition of your sentence is now saturated with ease. You are no longer repeating it as a desperate wish, but as a peaceful knowing. You know that grace makes all things possible. You know that when you affirm large sums of money come quickly, easily, and under grace, you are aligning with the most powerful spiritual principle there is. Grace does not need a reason. It does not ask if you're worthy. It flows simply because you are connected to divine source. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to make it happen. You simply speak it, believe it, and let grace unfold the path. Let it be easy. Let it be joyful. Let it come through channels that surprise you. Let it manifest through means that delight you. Grace never needs to forsake, only needs to be welcomed. And the more you allow grace to take the lead, the faster the abundance flows, the smoother the process becomes, and the more beautifully your desires take shape in the physical world. As grace begins to carry your words with ease and power, you must understand the nature of the law you are working with. This is not wishful thinking. This is not a game of chance. This is spiritual law, precise, unwavering, and deeply responsive. Miracles are not accidents. They are the natural results of obedience to this law. When you speak the sentence with unwavering faith, when you align your thoughts, emotions, and inner knowing with its truth, you are setting in motion a divine mechanism that must deliver. You are not hoping for money to appear. You are commanding it by law. And this command is not aggressive. It is calm, rooted, certain. It is the stillness of a soul that knows its authority. To decree a thing is to send out a spiritual order to the universe, one that cannot return void. Just as the seed, once planted in fertile soil, must grow and break through the surface, your words planted in faith must manifest in visible form. Your decree becomes the blueprint, and the universe, working through people, opportunities, and unseen currents, rushes to fulfill it. There is a divine sequence that follows your declaration. You speak, you believe, you expect, and then you receive. You do not chase the outcome. You hold your peace. You stand firm in your spiritual position, knowing that your words are backed by all the power of heaven. The moment you waver, you slow the current. But the moment you stand in still confidence, you accelerate the outcome. The energy of doubt repels. The energy of certainty attracts. Let your decree be consistent. Let your inner posture be one of calm expectation. Do not wait with anxiety, but with peace. Do not search for signs, be the sign. The miracle does not come to those who beg, but to those who believe. Speak the sentence as a daily discipline, not because you're trying to make something happen, but because you know it already has. Let the divine law prove itself. Let the fruits show. Let your life become the evidence that spiritual obedience brings spiritual reward. And now you stand in complete alignment with your word, with your faith, with the law, and with grace. You are no longer hoping, no longer striving, no longer questioning. You have spoken the sentence that moves mountains, the sentence that shifts the atmosphere around you, the sentence that tells the universe, I am ready, ready to receive, ready to expand, ready to overflow with divine substance. You are no longer a seeker, you are a receiver. You are no longer bound by fear, you are led by spiritual certainty. And every time you speak this one sentence, you awaken the truth that was always within you, that abundance is your birthright, and large sums of money are not a far-off dream, but a divine promise rushing to fulfill itself. Let it come, let it flow, let it unfold in perfect ways. You have spoken it, you have believed it, and now so it is.
In the great game of life, there are laws as exact as those of mathematics, laws that govern success, prosperity, and abundance. The wealthy do not stumble upon riches by chance. They align themselves with these invisible laws. They have learned the art of thought, the mastery of words, and the quiet discipline of faith. Wealth is not merely coins or possessions. It is a vibration, a consciousness, a way of being in harmony with the divine flow of good. The first habit of the wealthy is the habit of clear vision. They see their good before it appears. They write the vision upon the tablet of their mind and hold it with unshaken certainty. They do not say, I hope, but I know. Their faith paints the picture, and the unseen forces of life arrange the details. The second habit is the habit of right words. They understand that every word spoken is a seed planted in the garden of manifestation. The wealthy guard their tongues as they would guard their treasures. They speak of abundance, not lack, of opportunity, not fear. For they know that the subconscious mind is a faithful servant. It brings forth whatever it is commanded to express. Third, they practice the habit of gratitude. Each morning and night they give thanks not only for what they have, but for what is on its way. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. It opens the floodgates of supply. Where others see limitation, they see plenty, and their words of appreciation multiply their blessings. The fourth habit is discipline of thought. The wealthy do not permit worry to build its nest in the mind. They cast out doubt as one would cast out a thief. They feed their thoughts with inspiration, wisdom, and purpose. For they know that every outer result is born from an inner state. The fifth habit is the habit of giving. They give with joy and without fear. They know that circulation is the secret of increase. Money, like blood, must flow freely to sustain life. They give, not to lose, but to make room for more. Their generosity becomes their protection, and their kindness returns multiplied. The sixth is the habit of persistence. When others tire and turn away, the wealthy continue. They understand that every delay is divine timing, and that no effort is ever wasted. They trust the unseen hand that guides all progress, and keep their eyes fixed on the promise, not the problem. The seventh habit is the habit of learning. They are students of life, eager for wisdom from every experience. They read, listen, and observe, knowing that knowledge is the key that unlocks opportunity. They do not cling to old beliefs when new truth presents itself. And finally, the eighth habit is the habit of inner peace. The wealthy move in calm assurance. They do not chase success. They attract it. Their stillness is their power, their faith their foundation. For they know that prosperity flows not from striving, but from alignment with the infinite source of all supply. Clear vision and unshakable faith form the foundation upon which every great success is built. Wealthy people, in their thoughts and actions, demonstrate that the mind is the workshop of creation and that the power of imagination is the first step toward manifestation. They understand that to see with the eyes of spirit is far greater than to see with the eyes of flesh. Before any achievement, before any fortune, there exists a picture held firmly within the mind, a mental image infused with faith so strong that no doubt can touch it. This vision is not merely a passing wish or a fleeting desire. It is a knowing. It is a command to the invisible forces of life that says, "This is what shall be." The wealthy do not wait for circumstances to prove their vision. They hold the image long before outer conditions appear. When they face lack, they do not speak of poverty. When they face obstacles, they do not confess defeat. Instead, they return again and again to their inner picture of success. They paint it vividly, with the colors of faith and expectation. They see themselves already possessing the thing desired, already walking in the result they seek. The mind, so impressed, begins to draw to itself the people, ideas, and opportunities that make the vision real. This habit of clear vision is not an act of imagination alone, it is an act of spiritual law. The universe responds to mental pictures as surely as soil responds to seed. The thought held with faith is the pattern upon which the unseen substance of life begins to shape itself. When one holds confusion or fear, the result is disorder. But when one holds clarity and calm assurance, everything aligns in divine order. The wealthy know this truth deeply, and they live by it. They do not waste thought on how their dream will come to pass. They focus only on the what, and the unwavering belief that it will unfold in perfect time. To maintain clear vision, one must train the imagination as an artist trains the hand. The untrained mind drifts easily into worry, self-doubt, and disbelief, but the disciplined mind returns swiftly to its picture of success. The wealthy often set aside quiet moments each day to visualize their goals, to feel them as already achieved, to affirm that the way is prepared and all doors are open. They do not allow fear to take root. They know that every doubt is a thief that steals from tomorrow's abundance. So they replace doubt with affirmation, fear with faith, and confusion with clarity. Unshakable faith is the companion of clear vision. Without faith, vision fades into mere fantasy. Faith is the power that sustains the image when nothing in the outer world seems to support it. It is the inner conviction that what is unseen will soon be seen. Wealthy people cultivate this faith until it becomes a habit, a natural state of being. They do not rely solely on effort or chance. They believe that the same divine intelligence that governs the stars also governs their affairs. They trust in timing, in the unfolding of events, and in the law that says all things are possible to the one who believes. When setbacks come, and they always do, the wealthy do not abandon their vision. They hold it even closer. They treat obstacles as tests of endurance, opportunities to strengthen faith. They understand that delay does not mean denial. In their hearts, they keep affirming that everything is working together for their good, even when the outer picture is unclear. Faith to them is not blind. It is illuminated by understanding. They know that the invisible realm is teeming with creative power, waiting to be directed by thought and feeling. The wealthy speak their vision into existence. They use words as instruments of creation. When they declare a thing, they speak it with certainty, never half-heartedly. I am successful. I am prosperous. My work is richly rewarded. Such affirmations are not empty phrases to them, but statements of truth. They understand that spoken words have vibration and that vibration molds substance. Through repetition and feeling, they impress these truths upon the subconscious mind, and soon their outer life begins to mirror their inner declarations. Clarity of vision also requires the release of contradiction. One cannot hold a picture of abundance while secretly entertaining thoughts of limitation. The wealthy guard against this. They do not indulge in negative conversation or join in complaints about the economy, luck, or fate. They recognize that such talk blurs the mental image and weakens the current of faith. Instead, they dwell on ideas of growth, service, and opportunity. They keep their focus pure, their intention steady. They know that what they dwell upon, they draw upon. Faith, once established, becomes a force that magnetizes everything needed for fulfillment. It is not strained or anxious, it is calm, confident, and sure. The wealthy rest in the knowing that all supply is already theirs in the invisible, waiting only to be called forth into visibility. They live as though the promise were already kept. They walk as though the goal were already attained. This attitude of certainty alters their vibration, and their environment responds in kind. People feel their confidence and are drawn to their energy. Doors open, ideas arrive, and circumstances arrange themselves with almost magical precision. Vision and faith together create a powerful rhythm. Vision defines the destination, faith fuels the journey. Without vision, energy is scattered. Without faith, effort is weak. The wealthy combine both in perfect harmony. They know where they are going, and they trust that they will get there, even if the path is hidden for a time. They act from inspiration, not desperation. They move forward with assurance, guided by an inner compass that never fails. This clear vision is not limited to material goals. True wealth embraces purpose, joy, and contribution. The wealthy visualize not only their own success, but the good they can bring to others through it. Their vision includes the upliftment of those around them, for they understand that prosperity shared is prosperity multiplied. Their faith is not selfish, it is expansive. It acknowledges that abundance is infinite and available to all who align with it. The habit of maintaining clear vision and unshakable faith transforms life into a continuous unfolding of good. Every thought becomes intentional, every action guided by inner knowing. The wealthy cultivate this inner world until it becomes second nature. When others see only problems, they see possibilities. When others despair, they see divine order at work. Their minds remain steady in the midst of uncertainty because their vision is anchored in truth, and their faith stands as a fortress against fear. To think clearly, to see beyond appearances, to hold fast to the picture of one's highest good. This is the secret that separates those who wish from those who achieve. Wealthy individuals understand that all manifestation begins within. They treat their mental images as sacred, their faith as law, and through this unwavering combination, they call forth from the invisible into the visible every form of abundance their hearts can conceive. The power of right words is one of the most sacred and profound principles known to those who understand the laws of success and abundance. Every word that passes from the lips carries vibration, energy, and creative force. It is through the spoken word that thoughts take form, that invisible ideas are clothed in sound, and that reality begins to shape itself around belief. Wealthy people know that words are not idle, they are living instruments of creation. They choose their words with care, with intention, and with awareness that each one is a decree sent into the universe, commanding it to bring forth according to its kind. Those who have attained true prosperity understand that the tongue holds the power of life and death, not only in the physical sense, but in the realm of circumstance, opportunity, and destiny. The words we speak either build us or break us. They either call abundance or summon lack. The wealthy have mastered the art of directing their speech toward good. They never speak of failure, misfortune, or limitation. They refuse to give power to negativity by naming it. Instead, they speak words of strength, confidence, and increase. When they speak of their future, they declare it bright and full of promise. When they speak of themselves, they affirm their worth, their capability, and their divine right to success. To speak rightly is not mere positive thinking, it is the deliberate use of divine law. The subconscious mind, ever faithful and unquestioning, accepts the words we speak as commands. It does not argue or reason, it simply obeys. Therefore, the wealthy are vigilant in their speech. They understand that to say, "I can't," "I never have enough," or "I'm always struggling," is to write those conditions upon the tablet of the subconscious and to invite them into manifestation. They instead choose words that affirm harmony, progress, and sufficiency, I am capable. I always have more than enough. Everything I touch prospers. Such statements become their truth, because spoken word, when joined with belief, sets creative energy in motion. The wealthy also know the importance of silence. They understand that speech without purpose wastes energy, and that idle chatter often opens the door to contradiction. They do not join in conversations of complaint or gossip, for such words lower vibration and blur the mental picture of success. They prefer words that uplift, inspire, and affirm life. When they do speak of challenges, they frame them as temporary lessons, stepping stones to greater mastery. Their language reflects their consciousness, and their consciousness shapes their world. There is immense power in speaking good of others. The wealthy never diminish another's success by criticism or envy. They know that to bless another's abundance is to align themselves with abundance. When they see someone prospering, they say, "What is possible for them is possible for me." They release all words of comparison and competition. Their speech is rooted in faith, not fear. Every word they utter builds bridges of opportunity rather than walls of resentment. The practice of right words also extends inward. Wealthy people monitor not only what they say aloud, but also the silent conversations they hold within the mind. They know that inner dialogue is just as potent as spoken speech. When they catch themselves thinking a limiting thought, they replace it immediately with a word of power. If the mind whispers, "This is too hard," they respond, "I am guided, and all things are made easy for me." If doubt arises, they counter it with, "Everything is working in my favor." In this way, they reprogram the subconscious through repetition and affirmation, transforming thought into a tool of creation rather than destruction. Right words are rooted in faith and emotion. Words spoken coldly or mechanically carry little creative power. The wealthy speak their affirmations with feeling, with conviction that what they declare is already true. They feel the joy, peace, and gratitude of the fulfilled desire even before it appears. This emotional energy charges their words with vitality and sends them out like arrows of light, sure to strike their mark. They understand that the universe responds not to empty speech but to the vibration behind it. Their language is also precise. They avoid vague expressions like "I hope" or "I wish," for such words suggest uncertainty. Instead, they say, "I know," "I expect," "I receive." Hope is a waiting posture. Faith is a commanding one. The wealthy use language that commands, that declares, that assumes. They speak as if the promise were already kept, the door already opened, the goal already achieved. Their words set the tone of their vibration, and their vibration determines the experiences drawn to them. The discipline of right words requires awareness. The wealthy cultivate this awareness daily. They become observers of their speech, catching themselves before a careless statement escapes. They may pause mid-sentence to reframe a thought, transforming "this will be difficult" into "this will teach me something valuable." They take responsibility for every word, knowing that the universe listens to each one as an order waiting to be fulfilled. Through this mindfulness, their words become pure, powerful, and productive. Words also carry the power to heal. Wealthy people often use their speech to bless their endeavors, their homes, their relationships, and their finances. They speak peace into conflict, harmony into confusion, and abundance into lack. When they face adversity, they speak calmness and order, saying, "There is nothing to fear. Divine intelligence is guiding me now." In doing so, they neutralize fear and call forth faith. They know that no situation is beyond transformation when approached with words spoken in truth and love. They understand, too, that humor and kindness are forms of wealth. Words that make others feel valued, encouraged, or uplifted are investments in goodwill that return multiplied blessings. The wealthy are often gracious speakers, generous in praise, and quick to acknowledge the good in others. Their words create warmth, trust, and opportunity because people naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen and inspired. In moments of solitude, they continue their practice through affirmations, prayers, or written declarations. They may keep journals of prosperity statements or repeat powerful phrases throughout the day. Each repetition strengthens the neural pathways of belief, transforming words into habits and habits into reality. They do not let negative words linger or take root. They uproot them swiftly and replace them with words that align with their vision. The wealthy recognize that right speech extends beyond the self. It is also a form of service to the world. When they speak hope to someone in despair, when they speak possibility to one who has lost faith, they are using their words as instruments of light. They become channels through which divine energy flows, and in lifting others, they lift themselves. The words they speak ripple outward, shaping environments, influencing minds, and transforming situations they may never see. There is no wasted word in their vocabulary. Every sentence is a tool, every statement a seed. They do not underestimate the power of casual remarks or passing comments, for they know that even those carry vibration. Thus, they choose to speak only what they wish to see multiplied. Their words are measured, not by caution but by intention. They understand that language is a form of wealth, and mastery of it is mastery of life. Through years of practice, right words become their natural speech. They no longer need to monitor every phrase, for truth has become their default language. Their words bless, build, and bring forth. They speak success because they think success. They think success because they believe in divine abundance. And because they believe, their words never return void. Each word becomes a golden thread, weaving the fabric of prosperity, health, and harmony in the tapestry of their existence. The attitude of gratitude is the golden key that unlocks the treasury of abundance. It is the sacred bridge between the seen and the unseen, between desire and fulfillment. Wealthy people understand that gratitude is not simply a polite expression or a social courtesy. It is a living force, a magnet that draws all good things toward itself. When one gives thanks, one aligns with the rhythm of divine supply. Gratitude changes vibration, and vibration changes circumstance. Those who live in continual thankfulness move through life with a quiet assurance that everything they need will be provided, and that every experience, whether pleasant or challenging, is working toward their ultimate good. The wealthy begin and end each day in gratitude. In the morning, before the world has made its demands, they give thanks for the breath in their body, for the opportunity to create, for the countless blessings already present and those yet unseen. At night, before sleep, they review the day with appreciation, finding something good even in what others might call a setback. They understand that to give thanks for what is not yet visible is the highest form of faith. Gratitude says, "I already possess it," and the universe, which always mirrors belief, responds by providing tangible proof of that possession. The untrained mind tends to focus on what is missing, but the wealthy mind focuses on what is present. They know that whatever one gives attention to grows. If one constantly complains, one multiplies reasons to complain. If one gives thanks, one multiplies reasons to celebrate. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance, from limitation to possibility. It transforms the atmosphere of the mind, opening it to inspiration, clarity, and opportunity. This inner change is the real beginning of prosperity. The wealthy practice gratitude not as an occasional emotion but as a continuous state of consciousness. They cultivate it through deliberate attention. When they receive payment, they give thanks. When they pay a bill, they give thanks for the circulation of money. When they meet someone new, they give thanks for the potential blessing hidden in that encounter. They look for the good in every situation and magnify it with appreciation. Even when things appear to go wrong, they affirm that something better is being prepared. Their gratitude is not conditional, it is constant. They understand that gratitude is creative. Every thankful thought sends out a wave of energy that attracts more of the same kind. To give thanks for wealth is to attract wealth. To give thanks for health is to attract health. To give thanks for peace is to attract peace. The wealthy live by this law. They do not wait for abundance to arrive before expressing gratitude. They know that gratitude is the cause, not the effect. By giving thanks in advance, they plant the seed from which abundance grows. Their words of appreciation are not empty flattery toward fate. They are acts of creation spoken in faith. Gratitude also heals the heart from fear and resentment. It dissolves the habit of worry by focusing the mind on what is right rather than what is wrong. The wealthy protect their inner peace by replacing complaint with thanksgiving. When an unexpected expense arises, they give thanks that they have the means to meet it or that the means will soon appear. When a challenge presents itself, they give thanks for the strength and wisdom it calls forth. This shift in perspective transforms potential problems into opportunities for growth. Gratitude makes every circumstance serve rather than hinder. The wealthy are grateful for the smallest details of life: a warm conversation, a quiet morning, the beauty of nature, the harmony of a productive day. All become sources of joy. They do not postpone happiness until a future achievement. They live it now, through appreciation of the present. Gratitude makes them rich long before money ever enters the equation. It fills their lives with meaning and their minds with peace. Because they recognize abundance in simple things, greater abundance flows naturally to them. Gratitude also expands intuition. When the mind is thankful, it becomes receptive to divine guidance. The wealthy trust the inner voice that speaks in moments of calm appreciation. They know that gratitude opens channels of inspiration and attracts the right ideas at the right time. In moments of decision, they quiet the mind and give thanks for perfect direction, and they find themselves led with ease toward success. Gratitude aligns the individual with the intelligence that governs all creation, making right choices effortless. FYEC. True gratitude is active, not passive. It expresses itself in generosity, kindness, and service. The wealthy give because they are grateful, and their giving increases their gratitude. They recognize that every act of giving is an acknowledgement of abundance. When they share their resources, they affirm, "I have more than enough to give." This attitude keeps the current of prosperity flowing. Gratitude turns giving into joy and receiving into grace. It eliminates fear of loss because it sees all supply as infinite. The habit of gratitude also changes relationships. Wealthy people express appreciation openly. They thank others for their time, effort, and presence. They understand that recognition is nourishment to the soul, and that every word of sincere thanks strengthens connection and trust. People are drawn to those who radiate appreciation, for gratitude makes one magnetic, warm, and approachable. In business, this energy attracts opportunities. In friendship, it deepens bonds. In love, it multiplies harmony. The wealthy avoid complaining not because they ignore reality, but because they refuse to energize negativity. They understand that complaint is a misuse of creative power. Every word of dissatisfaction reinforces the condition one seeks to escape. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," they say, "I am grateful for what I have, and greater abundance is coming." Instead of saying, "This is too hard," they say, "I'm thankful for the strength and wisdom to meet this challenge." Such simple changes in language transform energy and outcomes. Gratitude also keeps pride in check. The wealthy recognize that their success is not achieved by effort alone, but by alignment with universal laws. They give thanks to the source of all good, knowing that their talents, opportunities, and even their perseverance are gifts of grace. This humility protects them from arrogance and preserves their peace. It keeps their hearts open, their minds teachable, and their lives in harmony with the flow of good. In moments of uncertainty, gratitude becomes their anchor. When outer circumstances seem unstable, they turn inward and give thanks for stability in spirit. They affirm that divine order governs all situations and that every delay or detour hides a blessing. This thankful perspective allows them to move through challenges without fear. Gratitude, like light, dispels the shadows of doubt. It keeps them steady, confident, and expectant of good. Gratitude transforms work into worship. The wealthy approach their tasks with appreciation for the opportunity to serve, to create, to express their abilities. They bless their work and the people they serve through it. They know that when work is done with a thankful heart, it carries a higher vibration and attracts greater reward. Even the most ordinary duties become sacred when performed in gratitude. Every moment for them becomes an opportunity to give thanks. The breath, the heartbeat, the sunrise, the challenges that teach patience, the success that confirms faith, all are met with acknowledgement. Gratitude becomes their way of seeing, their way of living, their way of being. It colors every thought, word, and action. In gratitude, they find contentment without complacency, ambition without anxiety, and faith without fear. Through this continual practice, gratitude becomes not something they do, but something they are. It becomes their natural state of mind, their atmosphere of being. They move through the world surrounded by an invisible aura of thankfulness that draws blessings as surely as a magnet draws iron. Wherever they go, harmony follows, because gratitude is harmony made visible. Persistence with purpose is the fire that keeps the engine of success moving when all other forces seem to falter. It is the quiet, steady power that turns dreams into realities and ideas into substance. Wealthy people understand that talent may open the first door, but persistence keeps every other door swinging open. They know that no great creation was ever completed in one motion, that every masterpiece was born through continual effort, guided by an unwavering vision. Persistence, to them, is not the stubbornness of desperation, but the calm determination of faith in action. It is the refusal to be moved by appearances, and the ability to remain aligned with purpose even when progress seems invisible. The wealthy do not mistake delay for denial. They understand that divine timing governs all things, and that sometimes what appears to be a setback is merely a preparation. They persist, not through force but through faith. They keep their minds focused on the end result, certain that the law of cause and effect will deliver what they have sown. They are patient but not passive, deliberate but not hurried. They act each day toward their purpose, trusting that every effort contributes to the unfolding of their greater good. This patience is not resignation. It is confidence in the unseen workings of divine law. Persistence with purpose begins with clarity of desire. The wealthy know exactly what they are working toward. Their goals are not vague hopes or shifting whims. They are clearly defined intentions, supported by deep conviction. When the purpose is clear, the will becomes strong. They rise each morning knowing why they act, why they strive, and why they continue when others give up. This sense of purpose gives energy to persistence. Without it, effort quickly fades. A mind without purpose drifts like a ship without a rudder, but a mind fixed on purpose moves with power and direction. The wealthy see challenges as part of the journey, not as signs to turn back. When obstacles arise, they do not retreat into complaint or discouragement. Instead, they view difficulties as teachers, each one shaping their character and sharpening their wisdom. They understand that persistence transforms difficulty into strength, that endurance refines ability, and that every obstacle contains within it the seed of its own solution. They face opposition with calm resolve, saying inwardly, "This too shall serve my good." Through this attitude, they turn trials into triumphs and delays into stepping stones. Persistence does not mean endless struggle. The wealthy do not push blindly against resistance. They move intelligently, guided by intuition and strategy. They adjust their methods when needed, but never abandon their mission. If one door closes, they look for another, confident that the right opportunity is always open to a mind that refuses to quit. Their persistence is flexible, not rigid. They understand that the path may twist and turn, but the destination remains the same. In this adaptability lies true strength. Faith and persistence are inseparable companions. The wealthy persist because they believe. They believe in the law of compensation, in the certainty that effort, backed by right thought, will yield reward. They hold their vision in the face of doubt, repeating affirmations of success when the outer world offers none. They remind themselves that the darkest hour often precedes dawn. They persist because they know that the universe never fails those who align with its principles. This unshakable faith gives them endurance far beyond the ordinary. Every great fortune, every thriving enterprise, every work of genius is a story of persistence. The wealthy see this law at work everywhere, in nature, in business, in art, in life itself. The seed does not sprout the instant it is planted. It must remain in the darkness, nurtured by faith in the process. So too must ideas mature in silence before they appear in form. The wealthy respect this rhythm. They do not dig up the seed to check its progress. They water it with action and trust. They persist quietly, knowing that time is the servant of purpose. Persistence also demands control over emotion. The wealthy do not let temporary discouragement sway them. They have learned to master impatience, fear, and self-doubt. When things move slowly, they remain composed. When results are delayed, they remain expectant. They know that to lose emotional control is to weaken creative power. Their persistence is calm and deliberate because it springs from inner stability, not from restless striving. They move forward with the certainty that what is rightfully theirs cannot be withheld. Purpose gives meaning to effort. Without it, persistence becomes mechanical, joyless, and exhausting. The wealthy connect their persistence to something greater than personal gain. Their work often serves an ideal, a vision of contribution, improvement, or creation. This deeper purpose fuels their motivation and gives them endurance beyond ordinary limits. They draw strength from the belief that their actions matter, that they are channels through which good flows into the world. Such purpose transforms work into devotion and persistence into spiritual practice. They also understand that persistence does not mean isolation. Wealthy people surround themselves with those who support their purpose and strengthen their faith. They seek counsel, learn from mentors, and collaborate with others who share their vision. Yet they remain centered in their own conviction. They welcome advice but never allow outside opinion to shake their inner knowing. Their persistence is independent of approval. Whether praised or criticized, they keep moving toward their goal with quiet consistency. The wealthy measure progress not by speed but by direction. They know that even small steps taken daily create momentum. Persistence thrives in consistency. Each day's effort, no matter how modest, builds upon the last. The wealthy treat time as an ally, not an enemy. They understand that continuous, purposeful action eventually compels success. For the universe must yield to the one who will not yield. They do not rush the process, but remain steady, allowing growth to unfold naturally. When discouragement whispers that success is too far away, the wealthy turn to affirmations of truth. They remind themselves that every successful person once stood where they stand, facing uncertainty, yet continuing anyway. They repeat inwardly, "Divine intelligence guides my way. Every step I take moves me closer to my goal. Nothing can stand against right purpose." These words restore their courage and renew their persistence. Persistence with purpose also involves faith in unseen assistance. The wealthy trust that when they move with sincerity and determination, invisible forces align to support them. Chance meetings, unexpected opportunities, and intuitive insights seem to appear just when needed. They recognize these as responses to their steadfast vibration. Their persistence is magnetic. It attracts the resources and people required for fulfillment. In the quiet moments when nothing seems to be happening, they persist inwardly by maintaining belief. Outward effort may pause, but inward conviction never wavers. They hold the vision, they bless the process, and they trust the timing. This inner persistence is the most powerful kind, for it sustains all outward action. It is the still flame that burns beneath every success story. They understand that persistence must be balanced with wisdom. There is a difference between purposeful persistence and blind insistence. The wealthy know when to release what no longer serves their goal, not out of defeat, but out of understanding. They persist in their purpose, not necessarily in one rigid plan. If a path closes, they thank it and choose another. True persistence lies not in doing the same thing endlessly, but in never abandoning the intention that inspired it. Persistence with purpose transforms the individual. It builds strength, patience, and faith. Each challenge endured refines character. Each effort completed adds confidence. The wealthy are not only richer in material terms, but richer in spirit, because persistence has carved depth into their being. They have learned to trust themselves, to trust life, and to trust the unseen order guiding all things. Their persistence becomes quiet power, a strength that needs no display, a certainty that moves mountains without strain. Inner peace and alignment with abundance is the invisible crown worn by those who have mastered both the inner and outer worlds. Wealthy people understand that true prosperity cannot be built upon inner turmoil. It must arise from a foundation of calm confidence, a stillness that remains unshaken by the noise of circumstance. Inner peace is not the absence of activity, but the presence of harmony within thought and feeling. It is the quiet knowing that life unfolds in perfect order, and that everything needed will arrive at the right time. This peace becomes a magnet for abundance, for nothing repels prosperity faster than anxiety, and nothing invites it more surely than serenity of mind. The wealthy cultivate peace through discipline of thought. They train the mind to dwell on truth rather than appearances, on faith rather than fear. They understand that restlessness scatters energy while calmness concentrates it. The peaceful mind is focused, clear, and receptive to inspiration. When others act from panic, they act from poise. Their calm demeanor is not indifference but power held in reserve. It allows them to respond intelligently instead of react impulsively. This quiet steadiness becomes their greatest advantage, for opportunities reveal themselves most easily to those who can see without distortion. Inner peace comes from trust in divine law. The wealthy know that the universe operates with precision and fairness. They believe that their good cannot be lost, stolen, or delayed, that every circumstance has meaning, and that nothing is ever against them unless they decree it so. This trust frees them from worry about competition or chance. They move in a rhythm of assurance, guided by the inner conviction that all things are working together for their good. They do not chase success, they attract it through alignment with this law of harmony. Alignment with abundance means thinking and feeling in unity with the energy of prosperity. The wealthy do not see abundance as something external to pursue, but as a natural state of being. They recognize that scarcity begins in consciousness, and that true wealth begins in awareness. When the mind and heart are filled with ideas of sufficiency, the outer world mirrors that sufficiency. They hold thoughts of expansion, generosity, and joy, and these thoughts manifest as opportunities, creativity, and financial increase. The peaceful person is not free from challenges, but free from inner conflict about them. The wealthy encounter difficulties as all do, but they meet them with calm faith instead of agitation. They affirm that every problem contains its own solution and that right action will reveal itself in due time. Their peace allows them to remain open to divine guidance. In moments of uncertainty, they turn inward, not outward. They quiet the mind until the answer rises naturally, often in a flash of intuition or a gentle inner prompting. Because they are not distracted by fear, they hear the still, small voice of wisdom that others miss in their noise of doubt. The wealthy also understand that inner peace and abundance are intertwined through gratitude and detachment. They are grateful for what they have while remaining unattached to any particular form of possession. Their joy does not depend on whether the stock rises or falls, whether a deal succeeds or fails. They maintain equilibrium because they know that true wealth is not the object, but the consciousness behind it. They own things without being owned by them. This freedom keeps them in the flow of increase, for attachment creates fear of loss, and fear constricts supply. Detachment, grounded in peace, allows circulation and continual growth. Their environment often reflects their inner state. The wealthy value harmony in their surroundings. They choose spaces that inspire calmness. Orderly, beautiful and filled with light. They understand that external clutter mirrors internal clutter, and so they maintain simplicity as a symbol of clarity. They may begin their mornings in silence, meditation, or prayer, attuning their thoughts to peace before engaging with the world. This daily alignment ensures that they act from centeredness rather than reaction. Inner peace gives birth to wise decision-making. When the mind is tranquil, intuition functions clearly. The wealthy rely on this inner guidance in both business and personal matters. They do not rush choices out of pressure or fear. They wait until they feel an inward sense of harmony before proceeding. If confusion persists, they pause, knowing that the right direction will become evident when peace returns. In this way, they avoid the costly errors that come from haste. Their calmness is their compass, and peace itself becomes a signal of correctness. The wealthy recognize that emotions are forces, and they treat them with respect. They do not suppress feelings, but they refuse to let them rule. Anger, fear, and worry are transformed through understanding. They ask what lesson each emotion brings, and then release it. This emotional mastery preserves their energy and allows them to remain focused on creation rather than reaction. They see that every disturbance within is an invitation to return to peace, for peace is the natural state of the soul. They protect their peace as they would protect their wealth. They do not permit negativity to enter through gossip, drama, or complaint. They are selective about the influences they allow into their minds, whether from people, media, or environment. They seek conversations that uplift, books that enlighten, and companions who inspire. By surrounding themselves with harmony, they maintain the serenity that keeps them aligned with abundance. Alignment with abundance also involves living in harmony with the laws of giving and receiving. The wealthy know that to hoard is to invite stagnation. They allow prosperity to flow freely through their lives. Their giving is joyful, never forced, for it springs from the recognition that they are channels, not owners of supply. This attitude of flow keeps them peaceful because they never fear depletion. They trust that as they release good, more good returns multiplied. Peace thrives in generosity, for generosity dissolves the illusion of lack. The wealthy also nurture their inner peace by maintaining balance. They value rest as much as action, silence as much as speech. They understand that success without serenity is a form of poverty. They take time to renew the mind and body, to reconnect with the quiet center from which all power flows. Whether through nature, reflection, or creative expression, they withdraw regularly into the stillness that restores strength. From this stillness, they return to their endeavors refreshed and inspired. Their peace gives them presence. In conversation, they listen deeply. In work, they focus completely. They are not scattered by distraction or lost in worry about the past or future. They live in the eternal now, where power resides. This mindfulness magnifies their effectiveness. People feel their calm confidence and are drawn to it. Their peace becomes influence. Their serenity commands respect. Without raising their voice or asserting dominance, they move through the world with quiet authority born of inner balance. The wealthy know that true peace cannot be bought or inherited. It must be cultivated. It is not the result of possessions but the cause of them. They remember that abundance begins within and that outer success without inner harmony eventually crumbles. Therefore, they tend to their inner state as carefully as to their enterprises. They cleanse their thoughts of resentment, replace fear with faith, and cultivate joy as naturally as one tends a garden. Each peaceful thought becomes a seed of prosperity that blossoms in time. Inner peace aligns the individual with the highest vibration of abundance because both are expressions of harmony. The universe itself operates in perfect balance, and when one's mind reflects that balance, one moves effortlessly with the current of good. The wealthy live in tune with this rhythm. They neither rush ahead nor fall behind. They flow. Their calm acceptance of life's timing opens doors that frantic striving would only close. Peace allows them to move gracefully through change, to welcome the new without fear, and to release the old without regret. This alignment with abundance creates a quiet confidence that radiates through every aspect of their being. They do not need to prove their worth or defend their position. Their peace speaks louder than words. They know who they are, they know the source of their good, and they know that all things move in divine order. From this awareness, they act, create, and live as expressions of infinite supply.
Beloved, life is not random. It moves in perfect rhythm, under grace, and in divine order. Everything that comes to you, every challenge, every reward, every return, arrives in perfect timing. There are 3 divine laws that guide your journey. You learn, you earn, and you return. Say softly now, I am guided by divine law. I walk in wisdom, I live in prosperity, and I give in love. Every experience teaches you, every effort rewards you, and every blessing asks to be shared. This is how life flows. Like the tide that rises, gives and returns again. You cannot rush it, for divine timing is never late. You cannot lose it, for what belongs to you always finds its way home. You are part of the eternal cycle of learning, earning, and returning. And when you move with it instead of against it, your life becomes effortless, graceful, and full of miracles. Say softly, everything in my life unfolds under grace and in perfect timing. Beloved, before abundance flows to you, wisdom must grow within you. Life will not give you what you ask for. It gives you what you are prepared to hold. And so the first divine law is you learn. Beloved, before abundance can find you, wisdom must shape you. Before blessings arrive, understanding must take root. Every soul that walks this earth must pass through the first divine law. You learn. Life is not random, it is a classroom of grace. Every experience, whether bright or difficult, is a divine lesson disguised as circumstance. There are no accidents, only assignments. There are no delays, only divine preparations. Nothing is wasted. Not your pain, not your waiting, not your tears. Everything that has ever touched your life came to teach you something your spirit needed to know. Say softly now, I learn with grace. I understand that every challenge carries divine wisdom. Nothing happens to me. Everything happens for me. When you stop judging your experiences as good or bad and start receiving them as teachers, you begin to awaken. Every person who hurt you taught you strength. Every closed door taught you trust. Every loss taught you detachment. And every ending prepared you for a new beginning. You are not behind. You are being refined. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Say softly, I release resistance. I bless every experience that has shaped me. I am wiser, stronger, and more aligned with my divine path. Beloved, the universe never withholds your blessings. It only withholds what would harm you before you're ready. The delay is not denial. It is divine protection. Because what is meant for you requires a certain level of understanding to sustain it. You cannot hold wealth with a poor mindset. You cannot hold love with a fearful heart. You cannot hold peace if your spirit is still in pieces. That is why life begins with lessons. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Say softly, every lesson prepares me for my next level. Every test shapes my faith. Every season matures my soul. When you bless your lessons, they become your teachers. When you bless your mistakes, they turn into miracles. When you bless your past, it becomes the foundation for your future. The moment you stop fighting what is happening and start asking, what is this teaching me? You shift from victim to creator. You step out of resistance and into divine flow. Say softly, I am open to learning. I am guided by wisdom. I am growing in every season. Beloved, there are people who repeat the same patterns because they refuse to learn the lesson. They ask, why does this keep happening? Not realizing that life repeats what you resist. The moment you learn, the test ends. The moment you understand, the pattern breaks. You graduate not through avoidance, but through awareness. Say softly, I am no longer repeating cycles. I learn quickly, I forgive easily, and I move forward freely. Do not despise your process. The seed that grows into a tree must first break apart underground. You are being stretched, shaped, and strengthened for what's coming next. You are not stuck. You are being built. You are not behind. You are becoming. Every waiting season is teaching you patience. Every silent period is teaching you trust. Every storm is teaching you faith that cannot be shaken. Say softly, I trust the process of my becoming. Every delay serves me. Every lesson blesses me. Everything unfolds under grace and in perfect. Beloved, life is not random. It moves in perfect rhythm, under grace, and in divine order. Everything that comes to you, every challenge, every reward, every return, arrives in perfect timing. There are 3 divine laws that guide your journey. You learn, you earn, and you return. Say softly now, I am guided by divine law. I walk in wisdom, I live in prosperity, and I give in love. Every experience teaches you, every effort rewards you, and every blessing asks to be shared. This is how life flows. Like the tide that rises, gives and returns again. You cannot rush it, for divine timing is never late. You cannot lose it, for what belongs to you always finds its way home. You are part of the eternal cycle of learning, earning, and returning. And when you move with it instead of against it, your life becomes effortless, graceful, and full of miracles. Say softly, everything in my life unfolds under grace and in perfect timing. Beloved, before abundance flows to you, wisdom must grow within you. Life will not give you what you ask for. It gives you what you are prepared to hold. And so the first divine law is you learn. Beloved, before abundance can find you, wisdom must shape you. Before blessings arrive, understanding must take root. Every soul that walks this earth must pass through the first divine law. You learn. Life is not random, it is a classroom of grace. Every experience, whether bright or difficult, is a divine lesson disguised as circumstance. There are no accidents, only assignments. There are no delays, only divine preparations. Nothing is wasted. Not your pain, not your waiting, not your tears. Everything that has ever touched your life came to teach you something your spirit needed to know. Say softly now, I learn with grace. I understand that every challenge carries divine wisdom. Nothing happens to me. Everything happens for me. When you stop judging your experiences as good or bad and start receiving them as teachers, you begin to awaken. Every person who hurt you taught you strength. Every closed door taught you trust. Every loss taught you detachment. And every ending prepared you for a new beginning. You are not behind. You are being refined. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Say softly, I release resistance. I bless every experience that has shaped me. I am wiser, stronger, and more aligned with my divine path. Beloved, the universe never withholds your blessings. It only withholds what would harm you before you're ready. The delay is not denial. It is divine protection. Because what is meant for you requires a certain level of understanding to sustain it. You cannot hold wealth with a poor mindset. You cannot hold love with a fearful heart. You cannot hold peace if your spirit is still in pieces. That is why life begins with lessons, not as punishment, but as preparation. Say softly, every lesson prepares me for my next level. Every test shapes my faith. Every season matures my soul. When you bless your lessons, they become your teachers. When you bless your mistakes, they turn into miracles. When you bless your past, it becomes the foundation for your future. The moment you stop fighting what is happening and start asking, what is this teaching me? You shift from victim to creator. You step out of resistance and into divine flow. Say softly, I am open to learning. I am guided by wisdom. I am growing in every season. Beloved, There are people who repeat the same patterns because they refuse to learn the lesson. They ask, why does this keep happening? Not realizing that life repeats what you resist. The moment you learn, the test ends. The moment you understand, the pattern breaks. You graduate not through avoidance, but through awareness. Say softly, I am no longer repeating cycles. I learn quickly, I forgive easily, and I move forward freely. Do not despise your process. The seed that grows into a tree must first break apart underground. You are being stretched, shaped, and strengthened for what's coming next. You are not stuck. You are being built. You are not behind. You are becoming. Every waiting season is teaching you patience. Every silent period is teaching you trust. Every storm is teaching you faith that cannot be shaken. Say softly, I trust the process of my becoming. Every delay serves me. Every lesson blesses me. Everything unfolds under grace and in perfect timing. Beloved, there is a rhythm in divine education. First, light whispers, then it nudges. Then it repeats until your soul remembers, and once you finally understand, it releases you into the next chapter, the chapter of earning. But before you move there, breathe in the truth that everything you've lived through has prepared you for more. You have learned to let go. You have learned to stand tall. You have learned to forgive. You have learned to trust when nothing made sense. You have learned that peace is more valuable than proof. And now, that wisdom has built your foundation. Say softly, I have learned. I have grown. I am ready for my reward. Every teacher of life has brought you closer to your divine identity. Every situation that seemed unfair was actually in your favor. The path was never punishing you. It was preparing you. The universe was never silent. It was speaking through experience. And now, beloved, you are no longer the same. You are wiser. You are deeper. You are ready. Say softly, I bless my past. I bless my journey. I bless the wisdom that now lives in me. You are not who you were before the lesson. You are the version of yourself that understands the law. The law that says nothing is lost, nothing is wasted, and everything is working for your good. You were never forgotten. You were being refined for divine use. And when the lesson is complete, heaven whispers, now you have learned. Now you may earn. I say softly one final time, I have learned under grace. I have grown in divine wisdom. I am ready to receive my next blessing, in perfect order, under grace, and in perfect timing. And so it is, beloved. Once the lessons are learned, the rewards begin to unfold. This is the second divine law. You earn. You do not earn only through work. You earn through alignment. You do not earn through fear. You earn through faith. Your life expands in proportion to your belief in what you deserve. Say softly now, my faith is my currency. My belief attracts my blessings. I earn through trust, not through struggle. You are not rewarded for exhaustion. You are rewarded for expectation. The world may tell you that effort alone creates success, but the universe listens to energy. It responds not to your sweat, but to your certainty. Not to your fear, but to your faith. Because when your energy says, I am ready, your blessings answer, Wire here. Say softly, everything I have learned is now rewarding me. Everything I have given is returning to me multiplied. Beloved, earning does not begin in your hands. It begins in your consciousness. You can only hold in form what you already hold in faith. When you believe you are unworthy, opportunities pass by. When you believe you are enough, doors swing open. Because the universe always agrees with the story you tell about yourself. Say softly, I am worthy of abundance. I am open to receive. I am ready for my harvest. You do not need to force what flows by law. Your good has already been assigned to your name, and divine timing is delivering it. You are not competing for your blessing. You are aligning with it. You are not chasing money. Money is finding its way to your vibration. You are not earning approval. You are embodying divine order. Say softly, my work is blessed. My time is valuable. My energy multiplies everything it touches. Beloved, faith turns action into magnetism. Every inspired step, every kind gesture, every seed of effort returns with increase. When you do your work with love, your results are multiplied by grace. When you give from peace, your reward flows easily. When you serve with joy, the universe bends in your favor. Because heaven always supports a heart that acts in alignment with truth. Say softly, everything I touch prospers. Everything I give returns multiplied. Everything I do is guided by divine wisdom. There is no limit to what you can earn when you stop limiting what you believe you deserve. If you see lack, you create more of it. If you see overflow, you live in it. It is not the size of your action that matters. It is the vibration behind it. You can earn millions in peace or lose everything in fear. You can attract everything you need through joy or block it through worry. The difference is energy. Say softly, I act in peace. I live in overflow. Beloved, you are not alone in your earning. You are co-creating with divine mind. Every inspired idea that comes to you is not random. It is a whisper from heaven saying, this is your next step. When you obey those inner nudges, you align with your divine appointment, and the results you used to chase begin to chase you. Say softly, I am divinely guided in every decision. I am always at the right place, at the right time, with the right people. My faith produces divine results. The energy of doubt drains your reward. The energy of faith multiplies it. You cannot hold miracles while holding fear. Release the worry about when or how. That is not your work. Your work is to believe, to stay grateful, to stay faithful, and the rest will unfold under grace and in perfect timing. Say softly, I release control. I trust divine order. My blessings arrive on schedule. Beloved, true earning is not about possession. It is about expansion. It is not about how much you collect, but how much you become. Every time you choose faith over fear, you earn spiritual wealth. Every time you stay calm in chaos, you earn divine favor. Every time you keep giving when it's hard, you earn invisible interest that later shows up as miracles. Say softly, I earn peace. I earn wisdom. I earn prosperity through faith. The rewards that are coming are not random. They are the harvest of every unseen seed you've planted. Every prayer, every sacrifice, every act of kindness, every time you kept going when no one saw, the law saw it all. And now, beloved, the law is paying you back. In full, in divine order, in perfect timing. Say softly, my harvest is ready, my good is released. I receive what is mine by divine right. You have entered the season of divine return, where your past faith becomes present fruit. You are walking into rooms you once dreamed of. You are meeting opportunities you once prayed for. You are attracting wealth that once felt far away. Because the law never forgets. Every effort made in faith, every word spoken in love, every thought rooted in gratitude, they all come back multiplied. Say softly, all that I have given in faith now returns multiplied. Everything I have waited for appears in divine order. I receive under grace and in perfect timing. Beloved, this is your time to stand tall, not in pride, but in peace. You have learned your lessons. You have held your faith. And now you are earning your reward. You are not asking anymore. You are receiving. You are not chasing anymore. You are attracting. You are not hoping anymore. You are knowing. Say softly one final decree. I have learned, and now I earn. I am worthy, ready, and open. All that belongs to me flows to me easily, freely, abundantly, under grace, and in perfect timing. And so it is. Beloved, you have learned. You have earned. Now, the third divine law begins. You return. This is the law of completion, the law of circulation, the law of grace. Everything you have received must flow again. Everything that was given to you must move through you. You are not here to keep the blessing. You are here to expand it. The river does not hold the water. It lets it pass. The tree does not keep its fruit, it offers it freely. The sun does not hoard its light, it shines without effort. And so must you, beloved. For this is how you live in the rhythm of divine order. To learn, to earn, and then to return. Say softly now, I am a vessel of divine circulation. What I give multiplies, what I bless expands. What I return comes back to me under grace and in perfect timing. When you give from fullness, you never feel empty. When you share from joy, your well refills faster. Because giving is not losing, giving is multiplying. You were created to be a channel, not a container. To hold everything too tightly is to block the flow. But to give freely is to invite the infinite to refill you again and again. Say softly, I give from love, not fear. I share from faith, not worry. I give because I know I am endlessly supplied. Beloved, what you give to the world is what the world mirrors back to you. When you give peace, peace returns. When you give time, time expands. When you give kindness, kindness multiplies. And when you give love, love never stops finding you. The energy you send out travels through the universe and always comes home, changed, magnified, and multiplied by grace. Say softly, everything I give returns increased. Everything I bless grows greater. Everything I send out comes back in divine perfection. You are not meant to live small. You are not meant to hide your gifts or hoard your wisdom. Every word of encouragement, every act of compassion, every silent prayer you whisper for another, these are investments in your next miracle. The universe records every good seed, and the harvest always returns, sometimes quietly, sometimes suddenly, but always perfectly. Say softly, my good cannot be lost. My blessings cannot miss me. Every act of love I offer creates my next wave of miracles. A beloved, the world has taught many to fear giving, to hold tight, to save too much, to protect what they have. But protection rooted in fear becomes prison, and faith rooted in generosity becomes freedom. When you open your hand, you open your life. When you open your life, you open the gates of heaven. Say softly, I give with ease. I give with joy. I give because I live in abundance. Every time you share what you've learned, your wisdom deepens. Every time you bless others with your gifts, your talents, multiply, you help another rise, heaven lifts you higher too. The law of returning is not just about money. It is about energy. When you circulate what you've gained, you keep life alive in you. Say softly, the more I give, the more I grow. The more I share, the more I shine. The more I bless, the more I blessed. Beloved, you are part of the great cycle of divine exchange. You learn through experience, you earned through faith, and now you return through grace. This is the secret rhythm of life. The student becomes the teacher. The receiver becomes the giver. The blessed becomes the blesser. And each time the circle completes, it expands wider, creating a richer, deeper, more radiant version of you. Say softly, I am in rhythm with divine law. I receive with gratitude, and I return with love. To give is to honor your source. To share is to say, I trust there is more. I trust is the language of heaven. The universe rushes to refill every open hand, every kind heart, every generous soul. You cannot outgive divine mind. You cannot exhaust the supply of grace. You can only increase it through faith and circulation. Say softly, I am connected to infinite supply. My giving keeps me in divine circulation. My generosity creates my next blessing. Beloved, Life is not about accumulation. You did not contribution. You did not come to take, you came to transform. You did not come to gather only, you came to give freely. And what you give from love will always be returned to you multiplied. This is the eternal law of return. Say softly, what I return to the universe blesses me in greater form. What I release in faith finds me again in abundance. Everything I do circulates good through a creation. You are the flow. You are the blessing. You are the returning grace of God made visible. Every smile, every word of hope, every gift of time, every prayer of peace, they all travel through the universe like light, touching lives, transforming energy, and finding their way back to you. Say softly one final decree. I give in joy. I return in gratitude. My life is an endless cycle of giving, receiving, and blessing, under grace and in perfect timing. And now the circle is complete. You have learned. You have earned. You have returned. The three divine laws of life have aligned within you. Wisdom, faith, and grace. You are no longer walking against the flow, you are the flow. You are not seeking divine timing. You are divine timing. You are not waiting for the universe to bless you. The universe is waiting for you to bless it. Say softly one last time, I live by divine law. I earn in wisdom. I earn in faith. I return in love. All things unfold under grace and in perfect timing. Feel that truth settle deep within your being. Your life is whole. Your path is blessed. Your heart is open. And your soul is free, and so it is.
There are words that open doors, words that act as golden keys, unlocking treasures long hidden in the invisible vaults of supply. Every spoken thought carries power, for the spoken word sets forth unseen forces that arrange themselves into visible form. Money, wealth, prosperity, all are vibrations already present in the great storehouse of abundance, waiting only for the right command, the right tone, the right word to draw them into your hands. When you speak, you do not merely form sounds. You set laws in motion. A decree is issued, and the universe obeys. If your words have been careless, you have perhaps called lack to your door. But when you speak with certainty, clothed in faith, you summon prosperity with the authority of one who knows. The instant you align your tongue with truth, money moves toward you as surely as water rushes to fill an empty cup. The substance of supply is quick to answer. It does not hesitate. It does not delay, except when doubt interrupts the command. Words of fear scatter the gold dust, words of assurance gather it. To say, I never have enough, is to chain wealth away from your reach. To say, money flows to me freely and instantly, is to swing wide the gates of provision. You may have thought you needed effort, struggle, or chance, but in truth it is the word that does the work. Every phrase is like a seed. The careless seed grows weeds, but the chosen seed bears fruit of plenty. Speak the seed of wealth and it begins to root in the unseen. Even before the evidence shows, the law has moved, the soil has shifted. The harvest is certain. You cannot plant the seed of prosperity and reap poverty. You cannot declare increase and meet with decrease. The law is exact. So when you rise in the morning, let your lips shape the decree. Divine substance now takes form as money in my hands. I speak abundance, and it appears instantly. These are not idle phrases. They are commands written upon the ethers, instructions to the invisible forces of supply. Speak them not with strain, but with quiet certainty, as one who knows that the moment the order is given, the answer rushes forth. Money is not a stranger to you. It is an obedient servant waiting only for your voice. If it has seemed absent, it was because you unknowingly sent it away with words of lack. But now, with new speech, you recall it. You call it to your side, instantly, joyfully, without resistance. Speak and the law responds. Declare, and the money appears. For the universe holds no delay except the delay of the tongue that hesitates. Words are golden keys that unlock hidden supply. When you speak, you are not merely forming sounds, you are opening doors to unseen realms of abundance. Words carry vibration, and vibration is the language of the universe. Every phrase uttered with conviction sends ripples through the invisible substance, shaping circumstances and drawing experiences that mirror the tone of your decree. A careless word is like a key turned in the wrong lock, barring access to the treasure room, while a deliberate, faith-filled word slides smoothly into the gate of plenty, swinging it wide without resistance. From the beginning of creation, words have held the power of manifestation. The universe itself was called forth by spoken decree, and that same power rests within the individual. When you understand that every word you speak carries a creative charge, you begin to choose your language with reverence. Saying words of fear or limitation locks you out from supply, while words of truth and abundance release the hidden storehouses of wealth. The keys are already in your possession. It is only a matter of how you use them. Many people live unaware of the power they wield through speech. They complain of lack, saying there is never enough, and with each complaint, they twist the key that seals the vault. They declare poverty, and so the unseen substance obeys, arranging conditions that reflect their decree. Yet the same lips can utter words that reverse the law, unlocking the gates of plenty in an instant. To say, "I live in a universe of endless supply," is to insert the golden key into the lock, and to turn it with assurance is to watch the treasures flow forth. The supply of money, wealth, and prosperity has never been absent. It waits behind the doors of consciousness, waiting for the right command. You hold the key, and the key is the word. Speak, and the vibration carries through the ethers, summoning supply from unexpected channels. A check in the mail, a new opportunity, a gift, a sudden release of funds. All these are the forms through which the unseen substance takes shape. The cause is always the word, spoken with faith, unshaken by doubt. The power of words as golden keys lies not in empty repetition, but in the certainty with which they are spoken. A key must fit the lock precisely, and in the same way, the spoken decree must align with belief. To utter words of wealth while secretly harboring doubt is like pressing a key against the door without turning it. But to speak with assurance, with the feeling that the door already swings wide, is to see the vault of abundance open instantly. The law does not delay. It answers at once to the one who knows. Consider how often words have been used to bar supply without awareness. A sigh of, "I can't afford it," shuts the treasure chest. A statement of, "Money never stays with me," locks away increase. Yet the reversal is as simple as turning the key in the other direction. Say instead, "I always have enough. Money flows easily to me. I am rich in substance and in form," and the locks dissolve. The door of supply does not resist, it responds instantly to the rightful key. Every word spoken is like an order placed with the universe. Careless orders are fulfilled just as surely as deliberate ones. If you say, "I never prosper," you have ordered poverty. If you say, "Wealth belongs to me now," you have ordered prosperity. The universe is a faithful servant. It does not question the command but rushes to carry it out. The golden key is not selective. It opens wherever you direct it. What you decree with your words becomes your experience, for the doors of supply open only in the direction of your spoken command. Words are not mere sounds, they are creative forces, charged with unseen energy. Imagine each statement as a glowing key in your hand. One key opens the door to lack, another opens the door to plenty. Both doors exist, but the one that opens depends on the word you choose. This is the silent law at work. The universe always agrees with you. If you say, "There is never enough," the universe answers, "So be it." If you say, "I live in abundance now," the universe answers, "So be it." The power lies in your speech, for your speech is the key. To use words as golden keys, you must become conscious of your language. Let every phrase be a declaration of wealth. Let your speech be saturated with assurance of abundance. Refuse to speak lack, even in jest, for the law does not distinguish between serious and idle words. Every word is a key, and every key turns some lock. The more deliberately you speak, the more easily the doors of hidden supply swing open. Say it when you rise, say it as you walk, say it before you sleep. My words are golden keys. I unlock treasures by every decree. When words are chosen with precision and spoken with faith, the response is immediate. You may see money appear suddenly, or opportunities arise as if by chance, but there is no chance in the law. It is the golden key at work. The doors swing wide because you turned them with the right word, at the right time, in the right spirit. The vault of abundance is never empty, never locked beyond reach. It is always waiting for the one who knows how to speak the command. The word is the key, and the key is always in your hand. Spoken decrees set unseen laws into motion. Every word that leaves your lips is more than sound. It is a command that summons invisible forces to take form and shape in the visible world. The universe is like a great obedient servant, responding faithfully to the orders it receives. It does not question whether the decree was spoken in awareness or ignorance, whether it was intended as a jest or as a vow, whether it was filled with faith or with fear. The law only knows to obey. When a decree is spoken, the wheels of creation begin to turn, arranging circumstances, drawing people, opening doors, or closing them, according to the vibration carried by the word. The spoken word is never idle. It carries a living energy that continues moving long after the sound has faded. To decree, "I prosper now," is not merely to affirm an idea. It is to issue a law that prosperity must begin its work in the unseen, gathering substance, preparing channels, making ready its appearance. To decree, "I never have enough," is likewise to send forth a law, and that law will bring shortage, delay, and closed doors. Spoken decrees are like seeds thrown upon the field of time, each one destined to return after its kind. The decree of abundance brings abundance. The decree of lack brings lack. The law is exact and impartial, waiting only for the words spoken into it. Many walk through life without knowing they are lawmakers. They speak casually of poverty, sickness, difficulty, and with each careless decree, they write the script of their experience. They wonder why certain patterns repeat, why money slips away, why doors remain closed. And it is always because the decrees they have spoken set those very patterns into motion. The universe simply mirrors the law they gave it. Yet the power of decree is also the power of reversal. A new decree spoken with certainty overrides the old one. The moment a man or woman says, "I now call forth wealth, health, and joy," the old conditions begin to dissolve, and the new law takes command. The unseen laws that govern life are vast and precise. They respond not only to action but to vibration, and vibration is carried most swiftly through words. Every phrase carries its own resonance. Words of despair send out waves that draw more despair. Words of triumph release currents that draw success. This is why spoken decrees are not merely suggestions or wishes, but binding orders issued to the unseen substance. Just as a king's decree reshapes the order of a kingdom, so your decree reshapes the order of your life. To recognize this is to awaken to your authority. You are not at the mercy of conditions. Conditions are at the mercy of your decree. The moment you declare, "Money flows to me freely," invisible currents shift to fulfill it. Channels open where none seemed possible. A friend may bring a gift, a stranger may offer opportunity, a forgotten debt may return as payment. These are the visible outcomes of a law already set in motion by words. Speak the decree of freedom and chains begin to fall. Speak the decree of love, and harmony gathers to meet you. Speak the decree of failure, and unseen forces rearrange themselves to block the way. Always, it is the decree that decides. Every decree carries with it the power of faith or fear. When you decree in fear, you still create, but you create the very thing feared. To say, "I never succeed," is to establish a law of failure, and the law must be obeyed. To say, "I succeed in all I do," is to set success in motion, and success must find you. The unseen does not reason or debate. It answers to tone and certainty. Words clothed in authority go forth like arrows, piercing through obstacles, rearranging circumstances, bringing form to the decree. Words spoken weakly, without belief, may waver, but the moment certainty enters, the law is sealed. Spoken decrees are also cumulative. Every repetition strengthens the law. To declare once is to plant a seed. To declare often is to water and nourish it until the harvest is inevitable. Each time the decree is spoken, the unseen gathers more force, building momentum, until suddenly the decree manifests in visible form. It may appear as if the outcome came overnight, but in truth, the decree had been at work from the first moment it was spoken, weaving its way through the unseen. There is no neutral decree. Every word spoken either advances you toward abundance or pushes you toward lack. Even silence carries less power than the careless word, for silence at least refrains from setting destructive laws in motion. But when you speak, the law listens, the law obeys, and the law creates. This is why discipline of the tongue is the beginning of mastery. To control speech is to control law, and to control law is to control destiny. Decrees of gratitude are among the most powerful, for they declare abundance as already present. To say, "I am thankful for money now flowing to me," is to establish the law that money must flow. Gratitude is a decree of possession, and possession attracts more of the same. Complaints, on the other hand, are decrees of loss, and loss brings more loss. Every time a complaint is spoken, the law moves to confirm it. Every time thanksgiving is spoken, the law moves to multiply it. The decree does not depend upon visible evidence. To wait until money appears before declaring abundance is to mistake the order of law. The decree comes first, then the manifestation. A builder does not wait for the house to stand before drawing the plan comes first, and the house follows. So it is with decrees. The word is the plan, the unseen law is the builder, and the visible condition is the house. Speak the plan boldly, and the builder gets to work. Doubt delays, fear confuses, hesitation weakens, but the firm decree sets the law in motion immediately. Every spoken decree is a claim. To declare wealth is to claim wealth. To declare health is to claim health. To declare joy is to claim joy. The law does not withhold. It only awaits the command. What is claimed with authority must appear. The unseen is filled with unlimited supply, and it longs to take form. The decree gives it shape, channel, and direction. Without decree it remains unformed, waiting. With decree it moves swiftly into manifestation. Thus every individual holds the power of creation in the tongue. Spoken decrees are not empty affirmations. They are the very laws by which life shapes itself. They are the cause, and visible conditions are the effect. To decree wisely is to live wisely. To decree rashly is to live bound by one's own careless words. The unseen does not judge, it only fulfills. And every decree, once spoken, sets its law into motion. Fear scatters wealth, faith-filled words gather it. Fear is the great disperser, the unseen force that sends abundance fleeing, scattering prosperity like leaves in the wind. When one speaks in fear, when lips shape words of worry and lack, wealth cannot remain. It is driven away by the vibration of dread, for fear and abundance do not dwell in the same house. Fear says, "I may lose," and at once the channels of increase close. Fear says, "There is never enough," and immediately the supply withdraws, hiding itself from the speaker who has locked the door with words of despair. Fear is a magnet, but it draws only the things dreaded. The more one fears loss, the faster loss arrives. The more one fears lack, the more lack multiplies. Faith-filled words, on the other hand, are gatherers. They call forth wealth from hidden places, summoning prosperity from the unseen with irresistible power. Faith speaks with authority. Faith says, "Money comes to me now, easily and freely," and money appears by ways unexpected. Faith says, "I live in abundance," and abundance rushes forward, eager to clothe the speaker's decree with visible form. Faith is not mere hope, it is certainty. It is the quiet knowing that the word once spoken has already set its law in motion. While fear scatters wealth like chaff in the wind, faith-filled words are golden magnets, gathering prosperity from the four corners of the universe. The one who speaks in fear is always running after supply, always chasing money, as though it were distant and reluctant. The one who speaks in faith finds supply running after them, money seeking them out, opportunities opening like doors that cannot remain closed. Fear says, "I must struggle." Faith says, "I am divinely provided for." Fear says, "I never succeed." Faith says, Success is mine now. Each word goes forth to fulfill itself, for the law never questions the decree. The law simply obeys. Fear scatters because fear is rooted in doubt. It looks at appearances and trembles, believing the evidence of lack, believing the mirage of limitation. Faith gathers because it looks beyond appearances, seeing the invisible abundance that waits to be called forth. The fearful person clings to what little they have, and even that slips away, for their words of worry send it fleeing. The faithful person releases their words with confidence, and wealth comes gathering, drawn by the magnet of certainty. To speak faith-filled words is to gather treasure into your storehouse. To speak fearful words is to watch treasure scatter before your eyes. Every conversation becomes either a dispersal or a gathering. A sentence of worry releases wealth and drives it away. A sentence of assurance draws it closer. When one says, "I cannot afford it," the law hears and the supply withdraws. When one says, "All that I need is provided now," the law hears and the supply gathers. It is not effort or struggle that brings abundance, but the vibration of the words spoken with belief. Fear wastes energy, scattering seeds of poverty. Faith multiplies energy, planting seeds of prosperity that return in harvests beyond measure. Fear is always restless, always anxious, always speaking of what might go wrong. It is never still, for it cannot trust. This restless speech becomes a decree, scattering wealth like birds startled from a field. Faith is calm, serene, unwavering. Its words are steady, clothed with authority. They go forth like nets cast upon the waters, and they return filled with supply. The fearful one sees opportunities slip through their hands, for their very dread repels the good. The faithful one sees doors open before them, for their assurance draws opportunity as a magnet draws iron. The moment fear is spoken, its decree begins to act. A person may say in passing, "Money always runs out," and those words scatter the money that was on its way. Another may say, "I always prosper," and those words gather increase even while they rest. Fear is quick to send wealth scattering, and faith is quick to bring it back. This is why discipline of speech is essential. One must guard against fearful decrees, refusing to utter them even in jest, for every word shapes law, and every law shapes experience. Faith-filled words gather wealth because they align with truth. The truth is abundance. The truth is that the universe holds unlimited supply, waiting to take form. Fear denies this truth and drives it away. Faith affirms it and gathers it in. Faith is not loud or frantic, it is steady, quiet, unshakable. It knows that money is never absent, only awaiting the right command. Faith says, "I now speak increase," and increase comes, not because of chance, but because the law has no choice but to obey. Fear comes from looking at lack, from believing in separation, from forgetting that the unseen substance is infinite. Faith comes from remembering that supply is everywhere, that words are keys, that the decree of abundance cannot fail. Fear believes in shadows, and shadows scatter wealth. Faith believes in substance, and substance gathers wealth. Fear says, "What if I lose?" Faith says, "I cannot lose." Fear says, "What if I fail?" Faith says, "I always win." And as each word is spoken, so it is fulfilled. Fear scatters wealth not only in the physical sense, but also in the mental and emotional. Fear brings confusion, hesitation, paralysis, scattering energy so that nothing is completed. Faith brings clarity, confidence, decisiveness, gathering energy into powerful focus. The fearful person wastes effort, scattering themselves thin, and money slips away. The faithful person acts with assurance, gathering their powers, and money comes willingly. Fear is waste, faith is increase. Fear breaks the net, faith mends it and fills it with fish. To watch the difference is to see two laws at work. One speaks fear and watches bills multiply, opportunities vanish, doors close. The other speaks faith and watches debts dissolve, opportunities arise, doors swing open. Both are under law. Both are receiving the harvest of their words. It is not luck or misfortune, not chance or fate, but the simple action of fear scattering and faith gathering. The one who learns to speak faith-filled words has mastered the law of prosperity. Fear scatters wealth because fear is contraction, and contraction pushes abundance away. Faith gathers wealth because faith is expansion, and expansion draws abundance in. Fear tightens the hand, closing the fist, and nothing can be received. Faith opens the hand, relaxed and generous, and everything flows in. Fear says, I must hold on, and even what is held slips away. Faith says, I release and receive, and new supply flows in to replace the old. Fear scatters with suspicion, grasping, and doubt. Faith gathers with openness, trust, and assurance. Fear scatters wealth through repetition. Each time one says, I can't, the decree grows stronger. Each time one says, it's too hard, the law gathers more evidence to prove it so. Faith gathers wealth through repetition as well. Each time one says, money flows freely to me, the current grows stronger. Each time one says, I live in abundance, the river of supply grows wider. Both fear and faith increase with use, but only one gathers wealth. Fear is a shadow, faith is the substance. Fear is illusion, faith is truth. Fear scatters because it aligns with illusion, with emptiness, with nothingness. Faith gathers because it aligns with truth, with fullness, with everything. The choice between scattering and gathering is always made in the words spoken. To speak fear is to scatter. To speak faith is to gather. And every word goes forth to fulfill itself, never returning void, but always accomplishing the law it was sent to perform. Prosperity responds instantly to the right command. The moment the right words are spoken with authority, the unseen substance of supply begins to move. It does not delay. It does not wait until some distant season. It does not require years of toil and effort to shift its course. Prosperity is like a servant standing ready, listening for the voice of the master. The instant the master gives the order, the servant moves without hesitation. So it is with the law of abundance. It waits for the decree, for the word spoken in certainty, and once it is given, the law leaps into action, arranging the visible world to match the spoken command. The right command is not a plea or a wish. It is not spoken in doubt or desperation. The right command carries the vibration of authority, the tone of one who knows the law is theirs to use. A weak word, filled with uncertainty, falls to the ground unheard. A strong word filled with faith is like a trumpet call that rallies the forces of supply from every direction. Prosperity does not respond to hesitation but to certainty. It answers instantly to the word that is spoken as law. Many imagine that prosperity requires time, struggle, or chance. They wait for opportunities to come. They chase money as if it were a wandering shadow. They labor endlessly, believing effort alone produces increase. Yet the secret lies in command. One decree spoken in faith gathers more prosperity than years of toil spoken in fear. The law is not moved by struggle. It is moved by word. Speak the right command and supply begins to appear in channels unforeseen. A gift arrives, a door opens, a way clears. Not because of chance but because the decree has gone forth. The right command must be specific and clear. To say vaguely, I want more, leaves the law without direction. To say, I now receive abundant wealth, freely and joyfully, gives the law precise instruction. Prosperity responds to clarity. The more defined the decree, the swifter the response. Just as a soldier obeys exact orders without question, so the law of prosperity obeys the spoken command. Ambiguity delays but precision releases instant response. The right command must also be consistent. A decree spoken once in faith but cancelled the next moment by doubt creates confusion. To say, money flows to me now, and later say, I never have enough, is to give opposite commands to the same servant. The law does not choose between them, it fulfills both, producing a mixed and unstable harvest. But when the command is steady, spoken with unwavering faith, prosperity aligns at once and continues to flow without interruption. Consistency keeps the channel open, while contradiction blocks and delays it. Prosperity responds instantly because it already exists. There is no need to create it, only to call it forth. The unseen substance of supply surrounds you always, waiting to take shape. The command gives it form, directs its flow, determines its channel. Without command it remains unshaped, like water without a vessel. With command it pours into form instantly. The delay is never in the law. The delay is in the one who hesitates to speak with certainty. The right command must be spoken aloud. Thoughts carry power, but the spoken word carries authority. Thought is like a whisper, but speech is a decree. To say, "I am now prosperous," with conviction, sends a vibration through the unseen that cannot be ignored. It is not volume that matters, but certainty. Even a quiet word, spoken in faith, carries the force of command. The universe does not resist the voice of one who knows their authority, it answers at once. Prosperity does not distinguish between large and small commands. To say, "I now receive a small sum of money," or to say, "I now receive great wealth," are equal before the law. The universe does not measure size, it measures vibration. The right command carries the same certainty, whether it calls for a coin or for a fortune. The instant the word is spoken, the law begins to gather the supply in accordance with the decree. To understand this is to release struggle. Many chase money as though it were reluctant, as though prosperity must be persuaded. Yet prosperity is eager to respond, eager to flow, eager to take form. It awaits only the word. The right command is the opening of the gate, and once the gate is opened, the river rushes in. Effort without command is like pushing against a locked door. Command unlocks it, and the supply enters freely. Prosperity responds instantly because time is no barrier to the law. The decree may appear to travel through process, but the response begins the moment the word is spoken. Circumstances shift, unseen currents rearrange, people are drawn into place, opportunities arise, all beginning at once with the command. What seems like time passing is merely the law unfolding the decree in the visible. The cause is immediate, the effect inevitable. The instant the word is spoken, prosperity has already begun to move. The right command must be free of fear. To speak, "I will not be poor," is not the same as saying, "I am wealthy now." The first command is rooted in fear and keeps poverty in sight. The second is rooted in faith and calls forth wealth. The law responds to the vibration, not the wording alone. Fearful commands scatter wealth. Faithful commands gather it. The right command is always positive, present, and certain. It does not beg, it does not deny, it affirms. Prosperity responds instantly because it is natural. Abundance is the law of life. The earth produces without strain, the rivers flow without effort, the stars shine without pause. Only man resists by speaking against his own good. When the resistance is lifted by a right command, prosperity flows as naturally as breath. It is not forced, it is not delayed, it is not withheld. It is simply released by the word. The right command turns every appearance of lack into an opening for supply. When bills pile high, to decree, "These are already paid in full by divine supply," is to set prosperity in motion instantly. When opportunities seem absent, to decree, "Doors of increase open for me now," is to summon those very doors. The outer condition may look unchanged for a moment, but the decree has already set the unseen into motion, and the shift begins at once. Prosperity is never absent, it only awaits instruction. It responds instantly to the right command, as faithfully as an echo answers a voice. The decree is given, and the law repeats it in form. The one who knows this no longer fears lack, for they understand that the word is their key. With every command of abundance, prosperity gathers. With every word of faith, supply appears. The law cannot delay, for it is bound to obey. It answers instantly to the command that is spoken with authority. Money is an obedient servant awaiting your voice. It is not a master to be feared, chased, or worshipped. It is not a tyrant holding men in bondage, nor is it an enemy that slips away without reason. Money is a servant, created to answer commands, waiting silently for instruction. It has no will of its own, no power apart from the word given to it. The tone of your speech, the nature of your decree, the certainty of your command. These are what direct money to move toward you or away from you. When one recognizes this truth, fear of money dissolves, and mastery begins. Money has always been present, circulating, flowing from one hand to another, seeking direction. It is never still, it is always in motion, responding to the vibration of thought and word. The one who speaks in lack unknowingly commands money to leave. The one who speaks in confidence summons it closer. Every careless complaint sends it scattering. Every faithful decree calls it to serve. Like a trained servant, money does not argue, question, or delay. It simply follows the voice of command. To treat money as a master is to fall into bondage. To chase it to fear its absence. To bow before it as though it held power over your life is to forget its true nature. Money has no authority of its own. It obeys the one who knows their authority. Just as a servant waits for the master's order, money waits for yours. It does not come because of struggle or desperation, it comes because it has been spoken for. When the command is given with faith, money moves instantly, arranging itself in channels both seen and unseen. This is why many work tirelessly and still lack, while others speak with assurance and always prosper. The difference is not in effort but in authority. The fearful worker chases money, as though it were a reluctant master. The faithful speaker commands it as a servant, and it comes. One runs after it endlessly, and it slips further away. The other calls it forth, and it arrives without resistance. The law of obedience is the same in both cases, but the roles have been reversed. When you recognize money as servant, you step into your rightful place as master of supply. Money responds best to clear, firm, and faithful instructions. To say, "I never have enough," is an instruction, and money obeys by staying scarce. To say, "Money serves me freely and abundantly now," is an instruction, and money obeys by flowing in. The universe does not distinguish between careless and deliberate words. Both are decrees, both are orders given to the servant. That is why speech must be guarded carefully. Every word sends the servant forth, either to scatter or to gather. The obedient servant is tireless. It does not sleep, it does not pause, it does not resist. Once commanded, it moves at once. If told to depart, it departs. If told to increase, it increases. It does not decide whether the command was wise or foolish, it only obeys. This is the nature of law. This is why mastery of money is mastery of words. The one who controls their speech controls their servant. The one who speaks in confusion finds money serving confusion. The one who speaks in order finds money serving order. Money is obedient because it is part of the infinite substance of supply, and substance always takes the shape of the word given to it. Just as clay yields to the hand of the potter, money yields to the command of speech. The form it takes depends entirely on the decree. To shape poverty with words is to see money serve poverty. To shape prosperity with words is to see money serve prosperity. The substance cannot resist. It only molds itself to the pattern spoken. The servant nature of money becomes clear when one observes how it shifts so easily from hand to hand, from place to place, always under the direction of belief and decree. One person commands it to depart by declaring loss, and it departs. Another calls it forth by declaring abundance, and it appears. It has no loyalty except to the law of words. It follows the voice it hears most consistently, the voice clothed in the authority of faith. If that voice speaks lack, it serves lack. If that voice speaks plenty, it serves plenty. The relationship between master and servant is not one of force but of certainty. A servant does not need to be begged, a servant only needs to be told. Money does not need to be pursued, it only needs to be directed. Begging is the speech of one who has forgotten their authority. Command is the speech of one who knows. When the decree is given with quiet confidence, the servant obeys instantly. Money flows toward the voice that speaks as master, not toward the voice that pleads as slave. To recognize money as servant is to change the way one speaks about it. No longer saying, "I wish I could," but saying, "I now receive." No longer saying, "I cannot afford it," but saying, "Money serves me to afford all that I desire." No longer saying, "Money always leaves me," but saying, "Money obeys my command and remains in my service." Each statement is an instruction, each decree an order, and the servant cannot disobey. This servant is also unlimited. It does not run short, it does not tire, it does not exhaust itself. The more it is commanded in faith, the more it multiplies. The channels through which it flows may vary. Work, gifts, opportunities, sudden windfalls, but the servant is always the same. It is not bound to one path, for it has countless ways to appear. The master does not worry about which path it will take, the master only issues the command. The servant finds the way. Money awaits the voice of command. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The instant the decree is spoken, the servant stirs to life. It begins moving through unseen avenues, arranging itself to serve. Delay only comes when the voice is silent or uncertain. But the faithful word is never ignored. The servant hears and obeys, gathering supply, opening channels, preparing increase. The truth that money is an obedient servant removes fear. There is no need to chase or hoard what already waits for instruction. There is no need to bow before circumstances or tremble at bills. The servant does not command the master commands the servant. The moment this truth is accepted, the entire relationship changes. Money ceases to be a source of anxiety and becomes a faithful worker, always ready, always responsive, always obedient to the voice that knows its authority. Man is a creature of infinite power, if he would but awaken to his authority. Every word he utters is a decree, every thought a mold into which his world is cast. To speak is to command, and to command is to change. When one realizes this great truth, he ceases to live by default and begins to live by design. The old order of things may cry out for repetition, but the spirit within always seeks transformation. Change is not chaos. It is divine order unfolding in new and better ways. You are not bound by the patterns of yesterday unless you cling to them. The moment you speak differently, you live differently. You stand, this very instant, at the gate of change. It need not come slowly. It need not come with strain. The law is instant and unfailing when used in faith. Speak now what you desire. Say it not with fear, but with boldness, knowing that you are backed by the infinite substance of the universe. There is no power outside of you that holds sway over your good unless you give it that power. The command is always yours. Many people cry, "I want change." Yet their words remain tangled in the vocabulary of limitation. "I can't. It's hard. I've tried." These are not commands to change, but affirmations of stagnation. The word is your wand. It creates, it releases, it rearranges. If you would see the world shift your language. If you would see the new, speak the new. Say, "Everything is working together for my good." Say, "Change comes easily and joyfully to me." Say, "I am in command of my life, and I welcome the new with confidence." These are not idle phrases, they are blueprints. They summon invisible forces to arrange people, places, and possibilities in your favor. You cannot change the outer by remaining the same within. You must speak as one already changed. Imagine the self you wish to become and give that self a voice. The moment you do, you set divine law in motion. Let go of the old, not with regret, but with gratitude, for it brought you here. Now, you speak a new command. You write a new decree upon the ethers, and life, always obedient, reshapes itself to your word. Your words are commands that shape your reality. This truth, though simple, holds immense power, yet few truly grasp it. The spoken word is not just sound or expression. It is law in motion, a decree that shapes the unseen into the seen. When a person speaks, they are not merely communicating, they are constructing, issuing instructions to the invisible forces that govern life. Every word carries vibration, intention, and energetic authority, and the universe obeys the command whether the speaker is aware of their power or not. The law does not distinguish between idle talk and deliberate affirmation. It responds to the tone, belief, and emotion behind the word. Therefore, when one says, "I am always unlucky," the law registers it as a command and brings forth experiences to match it. When someone continually declares, "Money is hard to come by," they unknowingly issue a standing order for lack and limitation. The outer world is not the master, it is the mirror. What one sees around them is the reflection of what has been said within and aloud. Many believe their circumstances are the result of fate, heredity, or chance, but these are only shadows cast by the continual repetition of the same mental and verbal patterns. Words set those patterns into form. A man may say, "I never succeed," and wonder why success eludes him, not realizing that he has already written failure into the blueprint of his life. The spoken word molds thought into form, thought into experience, thought into matter. It is not necessary to speak loudly or dramatically for the command to take effect. The still, calm word spoken with belief has more power than 1,000 shouted without faith. It is the consciousness behind the word that makes it magnetic. A word spoken with fear calls forth fear's children. A word spoken in faith draws the hosts of heaven. There is nothing haphazard about creation. It is a precise system of cause and effect, and the cause always begins with the word. The scriptures say, "In the beginning was the Word," and it is still so. Every beginning, every new chapter, every breakthrough begins with a word. Whether whispered in prayer, spoken in casual conversation, or uttered in passing complaint, the word carries weight. It travels forth, gathers substance, and returns as reality. This is why it is essential to guard the lips and train the tongue to speak only what one truly wishes to experience. Idle words create active consequences. To speak is to sow. The soil is the subconscious, ever ready to receive. The harvest is inevitable. One cannot continually speak of lack, worry, sickness, or struggle and expect a life of abundance, peace, health, and joy. The law is too exact, too unfailing. It is not cruel but just. It gives each according to their decree. The wise one begins to choose their words as a gardener chooses their seed, with care, purpose, and foresight. Even in jest, even in habit, the word is potent. How often do people speak of dying to do something, or declare, "This always happens to me," not realizing they are cementing those experiences into their future? The universe does not have a sense of humor. It has a sense of order. It fulfills the words spoken with focus, whether that focus is joyful or anxious, clear or confused. Every statement sends a message to the creative substance of life, and that substance obeys. This is not about superficial positivity or empty mantras. The word must be aligned with belief. To say, "I am wealthy," while inwardly expecting struggle is to create confusion. But to say, "Wealth flows to me in surprising ways," with genuine openness and expectation, is to make a command that the universe can fulfill without resistance. The alignment of word and inner state is what produces the miracle. One cannot fool the law, but one can align with it. Children speak with authority because they do not yet doubt the power of their word. They declare, "I am a superhero," and in their world, it becomes so. Adults, clouded by logic and past experience, often speak with hesitation, apology, or fear. They have forgotten that they, too, once commanded worlds with a whisper. To return to that place of inner certainty is to reclaim the power of the word. It is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what has always been true. The greatest transformations begin with a change in language. When a person who once said, "Nothing ever works out for me," begins to say, "Everything is working together for my highest good," the entire fabric of their life begins to shift. It may not happen in a moment, but it begins in a moment, the moment the word changes. That moment is the turning point. The command goes forth, and life rearranges itself accordingly. This law operates whether or not one is spiritually minded or religious. It is not dependent on belief in a particular doctrine. It is a universal principle, like gravity, responding to vibration, intention, and energy. A scientist, a poet, a mother, or a laborer all speak into existence their reality through the words they use. The titles do not matter. The law responds to the speaker, not the label. The difference between struggle and success, between confusion and clarity, between lack and abundance often lies in a single shift of language, not grand speeches or poetic verses, but small daily declarations. Instead of, "I can't afford this," say, "How can I afford this?" Instead of, "I'm always tired," say, "I am restoring my energy." These are not lies, they are invitations to a better reality. They are choices made consciously to command something new. Each morning, as the sun rises, the words spoken into the air create the framework for the day. To begin with complaint is to command discord. To begin with gratitude is to command harmony. Even the most mundane words, spoken over breakfast, while getting dressed, during a phone call, carry the seed of future experience. To live with this awareness is not to become fearful or rigid, but empowered. One begins to choose words like treasures, each one valuable, each one shaping the path ahead. People often ask for change, pray for miracles, or wish for a new life, not realizing that the answer lies on their own tongue. They wait for the world to change before they speak differently. But the world does not lead, the word leads. The outer cannot shift without an inner command. That command is not shouted, begged, or forced. It is spoken, firmly and faithfully, as a master issues instructions to a trusted servant. Life is that servant waiting, listening, ready to obey. Change begins the moment you speak it with conviction. Nothing moves until something is declared. The universe, vast and responsive, awaits a signal, a spark of focused intention carried by the spoken word. The moment you speak, you initiate. You may not see the effects instantly, but the currents begin to shift the moment the command is released. You are not waiting for life to change. Life is waiting for you to speak change into it. That is the divine paradox. The external responds to the internal, and the internal gains momentum through declaration. Most people wait for signs, for better circumstances, for something outside themselves to show them it's time to begin anew. They linger in delay, hoping that life will first improve before they choose better words. But the flow does not work that way. It begins within. You must speak what you seek. You must name the change. A decision is made with words, quiet or loud, it does not matter. The energy behind it makes all the difference. Conviction gives the word wings. To speak with conviction is to speak from a place of knowing, even when physical evidence has not yet arrived. It is to stand in faith when logic trembles. It is to use the power of your word to build the bridge from the unseen to the seen. Many whisper timid hopes into the wind, unsure if their voice carries any weight. But when you speak with certainty, with emotional alignment, with an inner yes, the air shifts. Change is not coerced into being, it is commanded. The power of speech lies not merely in sound, but in certainty. You may speak something dozens of times with no change, simply because you do not believe it. But say it once with full conviction, and the wheels of destiny turn. There is no need for repetition without faith. One declaration, spoken with soul, surpasses 1,000 empty affirmations. Conviction opens the gate and the river flows. A person may live in the same conditions for years, believing they are stuck, until one day they speak a different word. Enough. I'm ready for something new. That one moment, that clear decision vocalized with power, marks the beginning of transformation. It is not always dramatic or visible, but internally, a shift occurs. The word cuts through the fog. The statement becomes a sword, dividing the old from the new. There is before the word, and there is after. It is not necessary to know every step ahead. The command to change does not require a map, only a voice. Speak the end from the beginning. Declare the new before it arrives. Say, I am aligned with abundance, even if the bank account is empty. Say, I am healthy and whole, even if symptoms persist. You are not lying. You are leading. You are not ignoring reality. You are reordering it through the higher law of belief. Conviction is the signal that tells the universe, this one is ready. Conviction is not force. It is not the clenched jaw or the shouting demand. It is the still, rooted tone that says, this is who I am now. There is no need to argue, no need to convince. When conviction is real, there is no inner contradiction. The whole being is aligned. You do not speak one thing and think another. You do not affirm light while secretly fearing the dark. You are united in intention, word, and emotion. In this state, your word is magnetic. People often speak what they see, not what they desire. They speak their complaints, their doubts, their history. But this only extends the current reality. True change requires speaking beyond the scene. It demands a bold word in the face of contradiction. To speak change with conviction is to become the author of a new narrative. It is not to ignore facts, but to declare a higher truth. You say, I choose peace, not because all is peaceful, but because peace is now your command. You say, I rise, not because you have risen, but because your voice lifts you. Each time you speak with power, you are shifting timelines. You are stepping into alignment with a future that matches your words. The conviction with which you speak determines the speed and precision of that alignment. Half-hearted words create confusion. Words spoken with fear create resistance. But words rooted in faith draw the fulfillment swiftly. You do not need to know how. It is not your task to orchestrate the path. Your role is to speak the command with belief. Change does not require external permission. You do not need approval from others, signs from the heavens, or confirmation from circumstances. You only need to declare. The most profound changes often begin in silence, with one decisive statement whispered in the solitude of your soul. That one moment of clarity sends out ripples that touch everything. The outside may seem unchanged for a time, but the seed has been planted, and the harvest is inevitable. Many fear to speak change because they do not want to be disappointed. They say, "What if I declare and nothing happens?" But the greater risk is in saying nothing. The greater danger is in letting fear steal your voice. Your word is not powerless. It is powerful when spoken with conviction. And even if the change unfolds slowly, even if it comes disguised in unexpected ways, it will come. The law cannot deny the word that is aligned with truth and spoken in full belief. To speak change is to break the cycle. It is to interrupt the momentum of the past and insert a new pattern. The longer one waits to speak the word, the more entrenched the old story becomes. But the moment the word of change is declared, the energy begins to reorganize. Delay ends. A new vibration enters the field. This is not imagination, it is creation. You are not daydreaming, you are commanding. Change does not obey the clock, it obeys the word. There is no right time but now, and now responds to conviction. Every time you declare, I am ready, you advance. Every time you say, I choose better, the old begins to dissolve. The word carries the blueprint, and the blueprint becomes structure. This is how all new realities are built. On spoken conviction, firm and fearless. To speak change is to honor your power. It is to stop waiting and start creating. The moment you say, I am not who I was, something shifts. The moment you say, this is my new story, the pages begin to turn. Even if you do not yet see the full picture, trust the echo of your voice. The universe has heard it. The vibration has been registered. Life has received its new instruction. It is not about shouting into the void. It is about speaking from within the silence with authority. You may be standing in the same room, in the same clothes, surrounded by the same people. But once your word changes, so does everything else. The inner signal is stronger than the outer scene. Speak with conviction, and the unseen moves in your favor. Conviction is the key that turns the lock. It is the yes that opens doors. It is the light that reveals the path. When you say, I am no longer available for what no longer serves me, the world listens. When you say, I receive my good now, the energy aligns. The moment you speak change with conviction, you are no longer bound by history. You are free. Limiting language blocks transformation. Words are not simply tools for expression, they are containers of belief. Every sentence spoken carries within it an assumption, a seed of reality that takes root in the subconscious and grows according to the energy behind it. When you speak in terms of limitation, phrases like, I can't, it's too late, I'm not good enough, or, this always happens to me, you are not merely describing your life. You are prescribing it. You are placing invisible walls around what is possible and instructing life to conform to those boundaries. The subconscious mind does not argue or reason. It accepts repeated statements as truth and acts accordingly. If you continuously affirm that success is difficult, that love never lasts, or that opportunities are scarce, then your inner world molds itself around those declarations. And as within, so without. Life becomes a mirror, reflecting those inner limits outward into relationships, career, health, and self-worth. There is no neutral language. Every word either expands or contracts your experience. People often do not realize the power behind their most casual statements. "I'm terrible with money," they say with a shrug, unaware they are issuing a command. "I never catch a break," they joke, reinforcing a cycle of resistance. Even phrases used for politeness or self-deprecation can become powerful affirmations. The law is not concerned with tone or intention, it responds to vibration. A negative phrase spoken with humor still carries the energetic imprint of limitation. Limiting language becomes habitual, a kind of linguistic muscle memory formed over years of repetition and observation. It is passed down through families, reinforced by cultural norms, and solidified through past experiences. We've always struggled with this. One might say, believing it is simply a fact. But what seems factual is often only a repeated pattern, a story told so often it has become real. Changing the language is the first step toward changing the story. You cannot speak of lack and expect abundance. You cannot speak of sickness and expect vitality. You cannot speak fear and live in peace. The words must match the desired outcome. If they do not, there is contradiction, and contradiction stalls momentum. The energy becomes divided. One part of you hopes for transformation, while another part continues to reinforce the very state you seek to leave behind. In this tug of war, the stronger side always wins, and often, the limiting language has been spoken so long it has become louder than your desire. To break free from limitation, you must become aware of your words. Begin to notice the phrases you use unconsciously. Pay attention to what you declare about yourself, your circumstances, and others. Language is not only what you speak out loud, it is also what you whisper in your mind. Thoughts are unspoken words, and they carry the same weight. Replacing limiting language with empowered language is not pretending. It is reprogramming. It is rewriting the script that governs your reality. You may think, "But I'm only telling the truth." And yet, truth is fluid. What you declare as true becomes true for you. You are not denying facts when you choose better words. You are choosing to align with a higher possibility. Saying, "I'm learning how to manage money wisely," is not denying your current struggle. It is reframing it in a way that opens the door to change. Saying, "I'm becoming stronger every day," is not ignoring pain. It is commanding growth. There is a vast difference between observation and identification. You can observe a challenge without identifying with it. You can acknowledge the facts of a moment without making them your identity. Limiting language blurs this line. It fuses the temporary with the permanent. It turns passing feelings into fixed labels. "I'm anxious" becomes more than a description. It becomes a definition. And once something is defined, it is repeated. And once it is repeated, it becomes reality. The transformation begins with subtle shifts. Instead of saying, "I always fail," say, "I've learned from my past and I'm growing." Instead of, "I never get what I want," say, "Good things are beginning to flow into my life." These are not lies, they are realignments. They open the channel for a new experience. The subconscious accepts these new commands and begins to work in their direction. Energy follows intention, and intention is expressed through words. Some will resist this idea, thinking it's too simplistic. They may say, "Words can't change everything." But look around. Everything you now experience was once described by words. Someone said, "Let's build this. Let's go there. This is who I am. This is what I'll do." Words precede actions. Words shape beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. The transformation of any life begins not at the level of doing, but at the level of speaking. Children understand this intuitively. They speak in possibility. They say, "I can be anything. I can do anything. Watch me." There is no limitation in their vocabulary until it is taught to them. Over time, they learn to speak caution instead of courage, doubt instead of determination. But the original voice remains within. To rediscover your power, you must rediscover your original language, the language of expansion, hope, and creative command. Limiting language not only affects the self, but also influences those around you. When you continually speak discouragement, fear, or doubt, you project that limitation onto others. You dim their vision as well as your own. Conversely, when you speak with belief, encouragement, and optimism, you uplift those within your field. Your words become permission for others to grow. Your speech becomes a vessel of transformation, not just for you, but for your environment. The shift in language often precedes any visible change. People may look at their lives and say, "But nothing's different yet," as if waiting for the outer world to validate the new words. But transformation begins invisibly. First within the energy field, then in behavior, then in circumstance. The seed is spoken, the roots form, the sprout emerges. Just because you cannot see the result yet does not mean it is not forming. Trust the process and keep speaking in alignment with the future you desire. To eliminate limiting language, you must replace it with conscious language. This requires attention, commitment, and repetition. Begin with simple affirmations that feel believable. Choose statements that open rather than close. Avoid absolutes like always and never, and instead use words like beginning, growing, becoming. These words signal motion, evolution, and expansion. They tell the subconscious we are no longer stuck. This is not about perfection. You will still catch yourself slipping into old patterns. What matters is the awareness and the willingness to correct course. Each time you replace a limiting phrase with an empowering one, you weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen a new one. Eventually, the empowering language becomes the default. You begin to speak from your potential, not your past. Language is your magic. It is the spell you cast each day. It is the code that writes your reality. Speak limitation, and you will see it. Speak freedom, and you will feel it. Speak expansion, and you will live it. Your voice is the pen, and your life is the canvas. Choose the words that paint the picture you want to live inside. Speak as the person you desire to become. This is not about pretending or playing a role. It is about aligning your vibration with your vision. Every word you speak is either a reflection of your past or a declaration of your future. When you choose to speak from the self you wish to embody, you begin to collapse the distance between where you are and where you are going. The voice carries identity, and when the identity shifts, reality follows. If you continually speak as the version of yourself bound by limitation, fear, or failure, you prolong that experience. But when you speak with the confidence, clarity, and certainty of the future version of you, the version that already has what you seek, you step into a different frequency. That frequency draws matching experiences. This principle is not built on fantasy, it is built on energetic law. Who you identify as becomes what you expect. What you expect becomes how you act. How you act becomes what you receive. Speaking from your future self is an act of creative intention. It is how you summon the unseen. You do not wait for the outer world to catch up. You speak as though it already has. You declare, you affirm, you claim. Not because it is already visible, but because it is already real in the unseen. You begin to treat the invisible as more powerful than the visible. Many wait for change before they shift their language. They wait until the success arrives to call themselves successful. They wait for the relationship to declare themselves worthy of love. They wait for healing before they speak of strength. But this delay traps them in the old identity. The becoming never begins because the declaration never does. You do not have to fake confidence. You have to speak from the part of you that already knows. That part exists within. It is not an invention, but a revelation. It speaks through inspiration, through vision, through the inner yes that rises when you imagine something more. You are always speaking from some version of yourself. The question is which one? Are your words shaped by the self who feels stuck, small, afraid? Or are they shaped by the self who has already risen, who already knows, who already sees the mountaintop? To speak as your future self is to bring that version of you into the now. It is to pull the dream into the present through the bridge of your voice. Your words are time travelers. They carry energy across timelines. They send signals into the quantum field, telling it which version of you to materialize. This does not mean ignoring your present circumstances. It means refusing to let them define your vocabulary. It means speaking from a deeper truth than what is currently visible. You may be facing debt, but you speak as someone who manages money wisely and calls in abundance. You may be feeling lonely, but you speak as someone who is magnetic to loving, supportive relationships. This is not delusion, it is creation. You are not denying what is, you are declaring what will be. And the declaration sets the shift in motion. The moment you speak from your desired self, you change your posture. You carry yourself differently. You make different choices. You say yes to what aligns and no to what doesn't. Your boundaries shift. Your habits shift. Your relationships shift. Because your identity has shifted. When you say, I am no longer available for struggle, your life begins to organize itself around ease. When you say, I show up as my highest self, your days begin to reflect that energy. The words come first. They are the architects of the new foundation. Language is a signal. It tells your nervous system what to expect. It tells your energy field what to attract. It tells others how to treat you. When you speak with clarity, calm, and power, you communicate self-respect. When you speak with indecision, apology, or desperation, you communicate self-doubt. People respond to the vibration of your voice, even more than the content of your message. Speak from your future self, and people begin to treat you accordingly. The world meets you at your level of expectation. This practice requires awareness. You must begin to catch the moments when your language reflects the old self. The complaints, the fears, the stories you've repeated for years, they are not facts, they are patterns. And patterns can be interrupted. Begin to pause before you speak. Ask, who is speaking right now? Is this the version of me who feels powerless, or the one who knows her worth? Is this the voice of my limitations, or the voice of my expansion? Every sentence is a choice. Every sentence is a spell. You do not have to speak grand affirmations all day long. Sometimes the most powerful statements are simple. I've got this. This is just the beginning. I'm stepping into something greater. I can handle it. These are phrases your future self would use. Not because everything is perfect, but because she trusts herself. Speaking this way becomes a habit. A new tone begins to dominate your conversations, your inner dialogue, your presence. You become the evidence of your next level. This is not about arrogance. It is about ownership. There is no need to inflate or exaggerate. You are not trying to convince anyone. You are choosing to walk in alignment with your becoming. You are deciding to let the old story go. You are choosing to speak from the knowing that what you desire is not only possible, it's already on its way. And because it's on its way, you begin to speak like someone who knows that. You release the language of waiting. You release the vocabulary of lack. You release the identity of not yet. You step into the now of your next chapter. When you speak as your desired self, you create internal safety. You remind yourself of who you are becoming. You remind your nervous system that change is not a threat, but a homecoming. You create resonance between your words and your vision, and that resonance has power. It makes you magnetic. Opportunities begin to come. Support appears. Synchronicities unfold. Not because of luck, but because your vibration has changed and your world is responding. This requires courage. There will be moments when your outer world challenges your new language. Old conditions will test your declarations. People may not understand your shift, but your job is not to explain your transformation to others. It is to honor it within yourself. Every time you speak from your future, you strengthen that reality. Every time you declare who you are becoming, you anchor that identity. Your voice is the bridge. Your voice is the invitation. Your voice is the activator. The person you desire to become already exists. That version of you is not far away. It is a frequency you can tune into now. One of the fastest ways to tune into it is through speech. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Speak with grace. Speak with confidence. Speak with vision. Speak with presence. Let your words reflect your worth, your clarity, your direction. Let your language become the container for the life you are calling in. Speak as if it is already done. Speak as if you are already there. Speak from the self who has walked through the fire, claimed her crown, and come home to her truth. Divine law responds instantly to faith-filled commands. This is not a theory or a metaphor, but a spiritual certainty that governs the movement of energy, manifestation, and form. The universe, infinite in intelligence and precision, is always listening, always responding. It does not delay because of complexity, nor does it hesitate out of judgment. The delay comes only from the wavering mind of the one who commands without belief. But when a word is spoken in faith, clear, unwavering, and rooted in spiritual confidence, the response is immediate. Even if the physical unfolding appears gradual, the law begins its work in that instant, arranging, aligning, and moving in ways beyond the limits of human planning. Faith is the activator. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the seed and the harvest. To speak without faith is to speak empty words, sound without substance, form without force. But to speak with faith is to strike a match in the dark, to send a pulse through the field of infinite potential. Faith-filled speech is charged with a power that bypasses limitation. It is not loudness that moves the heavens. It is certainty. It is the quiet authority that says, "It is done," and leaves no room for doubt. The law is divine because it is perfect. It does not play favorites, nor does it choose based on worthiness, background, or status. It operates through alignment. The soul that speaks from faith, knowing that their word is law, aligns with the higher rhythm of creation. They do not plead, they declare. They do not wish, they decide. They do not question, they trust. This trust is not blind, it is rooted in spiritual intelligence, in the deep awareness that all things are already completed in the realm of the unseen. And that faith is the substance which brings them forth. Many speak, but few command. Many ask, but few believe they have already received. The divine law does not wait for time. It waits for alignment. The moment the heart and the word agree, the moment intention and vibration merge, the signal is sent. You may not see the manifestation with your physical eyes immediately, but in the unseen, the creation has begun. The blueprint is drawn. The structure is forming, the path is clearing. It is not a question of if. It is a matter of unfolding. Faith-filled commands are not passive. They do not beg for permission. They do not tremble with uncertainty. They speak as co-creators, as divine beings in full remembrance of their authority. When you speak in this way, you do not ask the universe to make something happen. You know it already has. You do not look for signs to convince yourself. You become the sign. You do not measure the size of the problem. You speak from the size of your power. You say, "This is so," and you move forward as if it is already done. To speak in faith requires that you silence the inner critic, the doubter, the skeptic. These voices belong to the realm of fear, not truth. They echo old programs, old wounds, old limitations. But faith speaks from the soul, not the story. Faith draws from the knowing that beneath the noise of the world is a deeper reality, one where your word is creative, your intention is sacred, and your alignment is magnetic. Every moment you speak in faith, you override the noise. You elevate your frequency. You call forth the new. There is a vast difference between hoping something will happen and knowing it has already been set in motion. Hope is valuable, but faith is foundational. Hope carries the wish, faith carries the conviction. Divine law is not moved by hesitation. It is moved by certainty. This certainty does not come from evidence, but from inner alignment. When your inner being agrees with your word, you have entered the place of power. From that place, all things are possible. You do not need to be loud to speak in faith. Some of the most powerful commands are spoken in a whisper, a silent prayer, a single word released with full presence. Yes. Now. Dune. These words, when spoken from alignment, carry more force than 1,000 affirmations spoken with doubt. The universe does not count your words. It reads your energy. It measures your belief, your clarity, your alignment with truth. Speak less if you must, but speak with more conviction. Say only what you mean. Declare only what you desire. Let your words carry weight. Faith-filled commands do not bargain with the divine. They do not say, "If I'm good enough, then this will happen," or "Maybe if I try harder, it will come." Faith says, "It is mine, not because of merit, but because of alignment." The divine law responds to vibration, not pleading. The universe is not withholding anything. It is waiting for your yes. That yes is spoken not in desperation, but in delight. It is a yes that expects fulfillment. It is a yes that walks forward with peace. To speak in faith is to walk in vision. You see what is not yet visible and treat it as real. You honor the dream not because of what it looks like now, but because of what it truly is. Divine law sees no difference between a dream and a reality. It only sees command. It only sees the clarity of the one who speaks. If you speak from lack, you prolong lack. If you speak from fullness, you accelerate fulfillment. The law does not edit your words, it fulfills them. There is no condition that can override divine law. Circumstances may appear fixed, but the moment of faith-filled command is spoken, they begin to shift. The soul that knows their authority does not fear appearances. They speak, and they keep speaking, not to convince the world, but to remain anchored in their truth. They know the power of repetition, not as ritual, but as reinforcement. Each time they speak from faith, they deepen the groove of belief, and belief is the soil where miracles grow. Divine law is not slow, it is precise. It does not make errors, it follows instruction. You are the instructor, you are the voice it responds to. When you speak from fear, it obeys. When you speak from doubt, it obeys. But when you speak from faith, from clarity, from joy, it brings forth outcomes that transcend logic. It opens doors you did not knock on. It sends help you did not ask for. It moves in ways that astonish the mind. Not because it is miraculous, but because it is lawful. You are never without power because you are never without your word. You carry the instrument of creation with you at all times. You do not need rituals, titles, or permission. You need only the courage to speak as one who knows. You need only the willingness to trust that the unseen is more real than the seen. You need only the discipline to speak with intention rather than reaction. Faith is not a feeling. It is a stance. It is the inner yes that remains firm, regardless of what the outer world reflects. The more you speak in faith, the more natural it becomes. You no longer ask, "What if it doesn't happen?" You say, "It already has." You no longer say, "I hope it works out." You say, "It is working now." Your words become less about requesting and more about revealing. You speak not to get something, but to embody something. You speak not to fix the world, but to align with the version of the world you know exists. Faith does not wait, it declares. Faith does not wonder, it knows. Faith does not question, it commands. And the divine law responds without hesitation to the one who speaks in truth.